Hello, friends. This is Sam Cheney reporting for Weaponized News. Today, July 2nd, 2026. Thank you for joining us on this Thursday edition of Weaponized News. We have a lot to get to. We got Ruckus riding shotgun with us on this broadcast. Let me give you the hooks. Get through this day in history. We'll get on Ruckus and go through all this crazy news for you today. We got Trump posting AI videos of himself. It's ridiculousness. Vote red in the midterms, or Mitch McConnell's gonna what? It's just, we got all that. Mitch McConnell, is he dead or alive? I don't know. I think as his constituents, we should know, especially the people of Kentucky. But I mean, he is a senator, kind of a big deal. They're like, yeah, whatever. Just Weekend and Bernie's in it. He'll keep on voting for more war, and that's really all that matters. We got that news. Protester over there at the Capitol, U.S. Air Force major is arrested at the Capitol protesting Trump, calling for his impeachment. We have that video. That's what we need all of the armed forces to do. We got KFAB coming out of Bobby Kennedy Jr. They're literally telling you, they're posing with the freaking WWE belts. Like, it's literally professional wrestling. They're actors following a script. We'll take a look at all of that for everybody out there that just loves the government, that can't get enough of this KFAB BS. We got the Flamingo Revolution. Some more news about that. In Albania, the big protests there against Jared Kushner trying to steal a bunch of their land. We continue to cover that. We have a bunch of economic news, Epstein news, as per usual. I haven't missed, by the way, for everybody out there, I haven't missed a day of Epstein reporting since the files were released. So how you like me now? Bunch of economic news, bunch more exposure of all Trump's corruption. Trump admits in an interview they have inside information, him and his family, and they're profiteering handsomely off of it. The rest of us are looking in the back of the cabinet for freaking top ramen, trying to figure out how we're going to afford to eat. They're making $1 gazillion. What do you have, Trump derangement syndrome? And then the next asshole that gets in there is going to be even that much worse. You understand? Bunch of geopolitical news. The Russia-Ukraine war is horrific. It's officially now being reported by CNN all over the place, though. 2 million dead in that war. Just what a horrific bloodbath. We'll take a look at that. 1,000 days of genocide in Gaza here now. It don't stop. They're bombing the hell out of Lebanon right now as I speak. It don't stop. They're bombing people. They're bombing refugees in tents. I mean, it just doesn't stop. We got all that news, the breakdowns, the numbers. When are we going into Cuba? Couple clips of Cuba president. He says that they've been under siege for 60 years. Damn, man. They've been under blockade for 60 years. And they keep telling us Cuba's next. We haven't even finished Iran yet. We're going to take a look at a little bit more ins and outs of Iran as well. Let's get to this day in history. We missed yesterday. Apologies, I missed it. July 1st on our Dark Occultist Satanic calendar is Demons Reveal. So we missed it yesterday, but we'll celebrate it today, I guess. Demons Reveal, and they're doing rituals involving druid sexual association with demons and blood. Any and all females of any age will be part of these rituals for Demons Reveal. That was yesterday. Apologies again for missing that reporting for you. Okay, on this June 2nd, or July 2nd, excuse me. July 2nd on this day in history, let me blast through these. We go back to the year 1698. English engineer Thomas Savery patents the first steam engine. Very important invention there as part of the Industrial Revolution. This is a crazy one. I believe last year on this day, I remember reporting on it as well. On this day in 1843, it was reported that an alligator fell from the sky. An alligator falls from the sky during a thunderstorm in Charleston, South Carolina. It was reported on this day in their newspaper there in South Carolina. Pretty crazy. Let's see. It was a thunderstorm. The article reads, Sunday week was a terrible day for its heat in Charleston, South Carolina, according to all its editors. But towards night, the oppressive storm of which and a ludicrous incident connected therewithin, the Mercury gives the following account. The thunderstorm on Sunday night, the winding up of one of the most oppressive days ever inflicted on mortal man, was really terrific. The whole firmament growled thunder and shot lightning. It was blinding to look at overhead with a power that shook the solidest structures, then rolled with angry growling along the wings of the storm. St. Paul's Church was struck, but no one was seriously injured. Beyond this, we have heard of no casualties, unless we may account as such the raining down of an alligator about 2 feet long at the corner of Wentworth and Anson Streets. We have not been lucky enough to find anyone who saw him coming down, but the important fact that he was there is incontestable, and as he couldn't have gotten there any other way, it was decided unanimously that he rained down. Besides, the beast had a look of wonder and bewilderment about him that showed plainly enough he must have gone through a remarkable experience. By the last accounts, he was doing as well as any alligator could be expected to do after sailing through the air in such bad weather. You can see they wrote very well back there in 1843. All right. I just found that a very funny story. On this day in 1850, Benjamin Lane receives a patent for a gas mask with a breathing apparatus. 1885, on this day, Russia implements partial emancipation of serfs. 1863, on this day, we saw the second day of the Battle of Gettysburg. Union and Confederate forces clash on the second day of Battle of Gettysburg with brutal fighting. Quite horrific there. Part of America Civil War. 1865, on this day, we saw the foundation of the Salvation Army. One-time Methodist reformer church minister William Booth and his wife Catherine Booth found the East London Christian Mission, now known as the Salvation Army. On this day, 1865. 1881, then U.S. President James Garfield is shot by Charles Guiteau, a disgruntled office seeker. Garfield dies 79 days later. 1890, on this day, U.S. Congress passes the Sherman Antitrust Act, the first federal law aimed at curbing monopolies and restraints on trade. And then they go on to not enforce it. So we do appreciate the monopolistic efforts. On this day, 1901, Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid rob a train of $40,000 in Wagner, Montana. On this day, 1916, Lenin sends his manuscript Imperialism, the highest stage of capitalism, to his publisher arguing that modern capitalism is dominated by monopolies, finance, capital, colonial rivalry, and the division of the world among great powers. On this date, 1921, then President Warren G. Harding signs a joint congressional resolution declaring the official end of World War I with Germany. 1962 on this day, we saw, Sam Walton opens the first Walmart store in Rogers, Arkansas. And everybody knows that's where food comes from, is Walmart. So very important there. 1964 on this day, Lyndon Baines Johnson signs the Civil Rights Act into law, outlawing discrimination based on race, color, religion, sex, or national origin, and ending segregation in public spaces. On this day, 1976, we saw the formal reunification of North and South Vietnam. On this day in 2012, Trust the Science. What are you, some kind of conspiracy? GlaxoSmithKline settles the largest healthcare fraud case in history for $3 billion. $3 billion. Trust them. What are you, some kind of science denier? On this day in 2019, and this woman's right, this is a bad representation, in my opinion, for the women's out there. On this day in 2019, Germany's Ursula von der Leyen is the first woman nominated to lead the European Commission, with France's Christine Lagarde, the first woman nominated to lead the European Central Bank, and they've gone on to show how tyrannical women can be. So we do appreciate their efforts there, oppressing the folks of Europe. And then on this day, 1 year ago, in 2025, American rapper and hip hop mogul Sean Diddy Combs is found guilty on 2 counts of transportation for prostitution and acquitted of racketeering conspiracy and sex trafficking. And then on this day in our civil liberties history, we had 2 items. On this day in 1946, President Truman signs Japanese American Claims Act. Then President Truman on this day signed into law the Japanese Americans Claims Act to provide relief for the victims of the Japanese American evacuation and internment during World War II. About 119,000 people of Japanese descent, 2/3 of whom were American citizens, were evacuated and interned. Couldn't happen here. Well, they've already put Americans in concentration camps here in America, and don't you believe they are chomping at the bit to find another reason, I don't know, protesting the surveillance centers? Pick something to put us back in those camps. You better believe it. On this day in 1976, in our civil liberties history, Supreme Court upholds constitutionality of the death penalty in Gregg versus Georgia. Decided on this day, the Supreme Court upheld the constitutionality of 3 state death penalty laws that had been passed following Furman versus Georgia on June 29, 1972. In Furman, the court held that the death penalty as applied was unconstitutional because of a lack of procedural safeguards. Following the Furman decision, the newly approved death penalty laws included a bifurcated jury process that separated the decision on guilt from the decision on the sentence, specification of aggravating and mitigating circumstances to guide jury making decisions, and appellate review of death sentences. And here's our segue to the news. Trump posted this himself on his X account. Here's Trump AI Fed slop, essentially. Enjoy.
Have you or someone you know been diagnosed with TDS? The symptoms can be relentless. Fortunately, I'm Dr. Trump, and I have a treatment plan. Let's hear what some of my patients have to say.
I have been suffering for over a decade, and after listening to Dr. Trump, I can see some results.
Man, I've been suffering for years. I really didn't believe that was help out there. That was when I came across this video on TV.
I really thought I was a lost cause. This was gonna affect me for the rest of my life. But after using the treatment plan, I can see a difference.
I really wasn't sure I could help some of these people. They were so far gone, I wasn't really sure. I had no idea how much this was affecting my life. My work is slowed down. I'm hardly recognizable anymore. I just needed help. I couldn't eat. I couldn't sleep. Constantly angry. I made everyone miserable around me.
I feel like I've aged 20 years in the last 2 years. I've been so concerned. I was really starting to worry about my future.
The treatment is simple. Turn off. Fake news. Say your prayers, and if you ever feel anxious, just have a Diet Coke like me, and you're going to see a remarkable difference in your life.
Just love corruption like MAGA. Here's the counter to that. This is a shorter clip by Where Forbidden on the X.
Our goal is simple, folks. We want to fix America.
Mr. Dr. President, America is in critical condition. We need your help.
Fake news, total hoax, the worst lie. You should be ashamed yourself, but tell me, is Israel okay? Tremendous country, the best. Are you fucking kidding me, bro?
How you doing this Thursday, Ruckus? America 250.
That was that second one. I approve of that message. That was fantastic. I was like kind of already thinking something like that in my head. I was like, good job. Somebody beat me to it. Now I can stay busy with work and stuff. I have a creative brain enough as is. Ever since they turned off CERN, it just won't stop popping up these crazy ideas. Anyways, yes, I'm doing well, surprisingly. Again, maybe it's because they turned off CERN. You would think all things concerning, all things considered, because the country is exactly like that bald eagle right there. That is exact. I mean, that's a perfect representation of where we are. Right about as we're about to celebrate 250. This is supposed to be a big one because I'm a bicentennial baby. I think you are as well. So yeah, the 50. That's why we're at 250 now. But I mean, everybody was full of this swelling bicentennial pride back. Do the math. Let's see. So yeah, 50 years ago. I'm just having fun with y'all. Fun fact: AI cannot do math. You should ask her a math question, and it's hilarious to me. But yeah, so this is quite. You would think I'd be in a terrible mood, but no, alas, thanks to them shutting off CERN until 2030, I'm in a great mood, Sam. So yeah, thanks for having me.
Well, wait till you go through this show.
Well, hold on. Let me correct one thing, however, because there was that first video that you played. So, for the record, I am not suffering from TDS. I never have, and I probably never will, hopefully. But I am developing a minor case of TPS, which is Trump propaganda syndrome. So I'm just not a fan of all the cheesy propaganda. Other than that, take it or leave it, because all the politicians are pretty much the same. But, you know, his special flair, different than the rest, is god-awful propaganda. So cheesy. It's terrible. Like, he really should work on it.
Maybe this can make you feel a little bit better about propaganda. Here's Ben Shapiro with an emergency warning to the American people.
If they were to gain control of the Senate, they would move to impeach President Trump. There's an outside shot. They could even get a conviction in a Senate split between a Democratic majority and maybe some rogue Democratic senators. They, of course, will stymie any effort to refund our military, to restock THAADs, Patriot missiles, to build the new kind of military we need to actually challenge our enemies in the world. And again, there is, as I say, the possibility that President Trump gets impeached in the House and then even convicted in the Senate. That's all what happens if the Democrats win the Senate. So there's like very, very serious stuff. And that sets it up for 2028. Because if Democrats control the Senate in 26 and the House in 26, then they are one step away from having trifecta in 28.
A trifecta?
Republicans have a trifecta. They done jack. They poisoned us. They made glyphosate national security, illegal foreign wars of aggression. So F off Republicans, F off Democrats, F off entire corrupt government. How you like me now?
Can I interest you in a third party? No, I'm just kidding.
In a CIA party founded by Tucker Carlson.
Hey, it could work, man.
So Trump tells us now we'll never fish again because the commies, what are they, Democrats, socialists are winning. And so if they win in November, we'll never fish again, he tells us in this post. I'll save you. Today's Trump declared it National Scallops Day to celebrate action taken by the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Association that will open up the northern edge of Georgia's bank to scallops fishing. And then later in this post, he says that go out and vote Republican in the midterms because if the communists get in, you'll never fish again. Here's that. You think we'll ever be able to fish again if the communists get in there, Ruckus? You can see that right there.
Can I confess something?
Sure.
I don't eat fish. I can't stand fish, so I don't have a dog in the fight on this one. Sorry. Although I'm not a fan of communists, so there's that.
Since 1776, it's cool to love America. This is the slop propaganda right from the White House. It's garbage.
See, you're making me ill. That's would you stop doing that? Stop showing the Trump propaganda because I have a bad case now. It's just full blown TPS now. I mean, it's coming through in the work that I do. Look, I mean, to the untrained observer, this might look like the Statue of Liberty behind you, right? But what's really going on, if you zoom in there, is that's actually from a meme that I made the other day. One that actually pretty much went quote unquote viral, as viral as anything I've ever done on Facebook is concerned. A scene from the classic 1968 sci-fi prediction of the present Planet of the Apes, starring Charlton from My Cold Dead Hands, Heston. But yeah, I made it the Statue of Liberty look like Trump because that's what he's doing. You know, he's trying to like he's very vain, he's very narcissistic, and he likes to put his name and his face on everything. And some crazy, wild accusations that are coming out of this new book that's coming out. I guess which I think is one of the ways they're going to try to get rid of him. There's something damning in this book that everybody's like, oh, there's something in the book. I'm like, I don't know. That's just be made, you know, people trying to sell the book. Who the hell knows? But anyways, yep, he's acting like a full-blown emperor, gold, everything, the Arch of Triumph, the gladiator games, the bread in the circus, the crypto coins, issuing coins. That's just like what the emperor what's his nuts did right before the fall of Rome. And here we are. This is crazy. So I wish it wasn't like that because I would like to be, you know, full of pride and go America. It's kind of ingrained in me. I was born in that environment where everyone was like, yo, happy. And they had the cool ass bicentennial coins and the money and everything. Sam, remember that? I collect that stuff and I think it's cool, but I look at all this stuff that they're putting out now for the 250th crap. And it's like 99% of it's got this guy's mug on it, dude. It's got his face on it. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? You look at all the stuff that they issued when we were kids. They weren't like showing off the current president of the time. They were showing off the founding fathers and Americana and things like that. And then the sparse instances where you do see some of this Americana stuff where it's like the 250 years or whatever. It's really gaudy. It's really tacky stuff, man. It's really, I'm like, man, did nobody with a heart or soul actually try? Did anybody try? Or is just everybody like, yeah, well, you know, we're at the end of this is the fall of the empire and everybody kind of knows it. That's what I worry about.
That's a good segue. Symbolic of America 250, chunk of stage falls and almost crushes dancers during Freedom 250 DC dance rehearsal. Here's video of that, symbolic of Trump's toxicity.
straight out of a movie. Nice slow reaction too. That was perfect. The wind down, like everybody, like, whoa, that was great. Large crowd there too. It's a good thing nobody got hurt. I mean, anyway.
Trump hijacked the U.S.'s 250th anniversary to serve political, ideological, and pet projects. Congressional report says House Democrat subcommittee report outlines web of alleged corruption, wire fraud, and pay-to-play schemes. As we continue to report here at Weaponized News, it's starting to look like, I guess we'll get to it in the economic section. It definitely is looking like you give a donation to Trump and they look the other way, or get your court cases released. America's
art of the deal, Sam. Art of the deal.
Art of the deal. Art of corruption. America's 250th birthday party is starting to look like one big money laundering scheme, with your tax dollars funding PragerU propaganda trucks and our favorite foreign agent, Brad Parscale. A decade ago, Congress set aside $150 million for America's 250th anniversary and created a bipartisan commission to run it. The commission has received just $25 million and is now begging for more. The rest was steered to Freedom 250, a shell LLC Trump stood up in 2025 and hid inside a National Park Service charity. It has pulled in around $80 million. It gets worse, as a post by the Leah Files on the X. A $10 million grant, a library and museum money, was moved into Trump's birthday LLC to build freedom trucks, mobile propaganda exhibits made by PragerU. They're aardvark traders there at PragerU, acting like they're great American patriots. Everybody should know that and shame them out of existence. The nonprofit Cho's CEO served in the IDF's Unit 8200. They're literally foreign spies posing as great American patriots. F you, damn traitors. You make me sick and you're disgusting. Only 8% has been sent. It reports 0 sub-awards, no public record of who got the money. Someone in Congress should look into this. You think around $50 million more is obligated and simply gone dark, not itemized anywhere the public can find. This looks intentional. The White House is paying Campaign Nucleus, the company Brad Parscale, the company of Brad Parscale, a registered foreign agent of Aardvark land. Literal treason in your face. So F you, MAGA, F you, Trump, all you damn traitors. You're sick fools to run birthday events and harvest the data of everyone who signs up, compliments of our tax dollars. Every tax dollar runs through a charity. Why? A charity is a wrapper. It lets you take in tax money, corporate cash, and foreign money and spend it on your own projects with the books closed. Here's a little graphic to illustrate the money laundering schemes Trump rolled out here for America 250 and Aardvark land traders. Parscale, PragerU, all scum of the earth. Acting like great American patriots. They're nothing of the sort.
Great American patriots. Yep. They're so interested in the history of this America, right? Yeah, sure they are. Mm-hmm.
They said all the founding fathers had little hats on when they signed the Constitution.
Oh, of course they did. I mean, we've all seen the paintings, right? Yeah. And they wrote about this constantly all the time. You know, they had to make it was so proudly like yeah, I don't know. That's below me. Yeah, what a joke.
That's what Mike Huckabee, a literal traitor. Mike Huckabee, ambassador Aardvark land, hangs out with convicted spies for aardvark land against America, Jonathan Pollard. How is this not treason?
Well, at least he came forward, right?
Okay, so the White House doesn't even post about the war anymore. We're still in a war with Iran. Essentially, it's not hot right now, but so we had talks that Iran won't even talk to America directly. They have to go through intermediaries, Qatar and Pakistan, because they say you already violated the freaking rules to sit down to talk, which they did. Qatar and Pakistan say indirect U.S.-Iran talks in Doha have concluded. This was yesterday, but a little bit more follow-up reporting about it. They say they produced positive progress on the MOU, with the next meeting to be scheduled at the earliest possible time after funeral processions there in Iran for Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei. Ceremonies are going to run there mourning the martyrs, Supreme Leader Khomeini's death, from July 4th through July 9th, Ruckus. And so calls for bombing them are being made by Laura Loomer. Let's see. I think we have the video of it here. Where is the video? Did we have the video of it? Oh, yeah, here it is.
I've seen all the Saw movies. It's okay.
Shadow of Ezra on the X says the body of Iran's former Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei is now at the Khomeini Mourning Hall in Tehran. Laura Loomer has demanded the U.S. military drop massive bombs on the event and eliminate everyone there. Representatives from multiple countries are attending the event. An attack would ultimately start a world war. Here's video of the mourning of the martyr there in Iran. Man, what the hell?
Ya Hussein. اصلا نمیشه باورم که دیگه نیستی بینمون.
There you go. So who's worse, those religious fanatics or the Christian Zionist religious fanatics or the aardvark religious fanatics? I don't know. They're all scary to me.
Well, luckily that none of that's going to happen. What Laura Loomer is suggesting there, thank God. Trump would never, ever do something like that. I mean, such an obvious war crime and all that. I mean, you want to know why, Sam? Because that's exactly the type of playbook that Obama was running when he was like droning people at their weddings and funerals and stuff like that, you know. Wait, I guess Trump did do something during, anyways. But yeah, no, yeah, this is probably not good if they decided to target them like that. That would be I could think of, so that's something like one of our, probably the greatest ally of ours in a certain region might consider doing something like that. But I don't think we would ever do that. No way. Because again, you know, Obama did something similar and Trump hates Obama, right?
U.S. officials feared aardvark land might assassinate Iran's top negotiators, as they've done multiple times here. Foreign Minister Argachai and Speaker of the House Ghalibaf during sensitive peace talks this spring concerned such a strike would derail negotiations and reignite the war. Washington asked regional countries to warn Iran of the risk. Iran took extensive security measures to protect its delegation, including military escorts and changes to travel plans after receiving intelligence about possible aardvark land assassination attempts. That's a report out of the failing New York Times. So yeah, it's kind of their thing. They're like, why don't you want peace? I don't know. You whacked the peace negotiators the last 5 times they came to talk about peace, bro. Well, you're a damn terrorist. There you go. Here's
fool me twice. Shame on you. Fool me again. Can't fool again. Right? Isn't that how the saying goes, according to George Bush?
Yes. Yes. Laura Trump says she has no clue why so many clownfluencers like Tucker and others have suddenly started accusing Trump of being an Aardvarkland puppet. Let's watch this. It's a mystery.
There have been a lot of these at one time very influential people who were huge Trump supporters, who were very strong in terms of their support for, the conservative movement, MAGA, all of it, who seem to have started peddling very crazy ideas out there, like that Donald Trump is a puppet of, Israel, and that he's only doing the things he's doing to benefit Israel and Netanyahu. It's crazy stuff. I can promise everyone out there, there is only one goal in mind at the end of the day for this president. It is the best thing possible for the United States of America, period, end of story. But this sort of thing, where now we're a couple months away from midterm elections, and you have someone like Tucker Carlson saying he's not voting for the Republicans in, the House and Senate race. There have been
Everybody's wrong about this. Everybody thinks that somebody's a puppet of the other one. The reality is that they're both puppets, and they're being used by an unseen hand, as it were.
Vote Republican in the midterms. Is Mitch McConnell alive? It's reported like 2 weeks ago he was found at his house unconscious. He's in the hospital somewhere, maybe dead. We don't even know. Former leader of the Senate not that long ago. And now we don't even, should he be allowed to vote from the grave, Ruckus?
Well, this is so much easier than what they've been doing, putting the poor guy through, like, standing there and he freezes and he can't talk. Remember the glitches that he's had multiple times?
He's having a bunch of seizures, a bunch of freaking strokes.
Yeah, this is much better to do you mentioned it earlier, the weekend at Bernie's thing. We'll just do that, like you were just showing there, basically.
So that's why we need to vote Republican in
this
the
is freaking elder abuse. If they, if he's still alive, I hope for his sake that I hope give him some rest. Leave the poor guy alone. He's done his job. They're gonna try to squeeze him out for every last signature juice drop that they can, right?
Will they try to do the cryogenic thing where it's just like his frozen head in a jar voting?
Like from Futurama?
Yeah, something like that.
I'm not a crook. Wasn't President Nixon the president of the world in that series? His head? Yeah, that's funny. With our luck, where we're headed, it's going to be just like that, except it's going to be Trump. It's going to be Trump's head in a jar is the president of the world in Futurama world.
There's an active... They're going to throw the book at this guy, but if everybody stood up, then it would run some of the corruption back. I do believe active duty Air Force Major Jason Watson was detained. He was arrested today on Capitol Hill protesting Trump. Here's that video. If all of the those in the service would follow suit, then we would have a lot. We'd be looking a lot better at this America 250. But this guy, they're going to throw the book at this dude, make an example out of him, I'm sure.
To grow a sentence, get him the hell out. Put him in jail where he belongs. They're illegal.
Impeach, convict, remove.
Remove!
They're going to throw the book at that dude. Guarantee it.
He knows it. The people arresting him possibly know it, but all of his colleagues, where he used to work, the military, they all know it. Yeah, I wouldn't want to be that guy. Very brave what he did, because, I mean, it doesn't serve any purpose other than that show there, and it plants a false idea in a lot of people's heads, which is like, is this part of a plan? Is this an Overton window thing? Is this a psyop? What is going on? Because the vast majority of regular folks, including myself in general, I mean, I just, I know some things because of what I do, and I study the news, and I have a few friends in the rules are a little different for you when you're in the military. So you may be like, we're probably going to hear a lot of people like, oh, he's in America. He's got the free speech and this. Yes, he's still, yeah, whatever. But he's under the command of basically this administration, the president, however you want to look at it. You can't do that. This is not allowed. That's a kind of a treasonous act, a court martial. I forget what the specifics are. There's all these legal rules. You can't do that in the military. You know, very noble of him, whatever he believes and what he believes. Similar to the guy who set himself on fire and all that. What did that achieve? Not much. But yeah, I just. It's cool, but I don't know if I can trust it. A lot of distraction. People are going to be like paying attention to that, chasing that little shiny object. And usually when they're chasing a shiny object, there's some criminals slipping out the back door or, you know, enacting some sort of sneaky way to take away our rights and all that fun stuff.
A bounty's been placed on Trump and Bibi, both presidents of America here in Iran, wanted dead or alive, 100 kilograms of gold bounty placed on Trump and Bibi, America's two presidents there. Organizers call it a people-driven initiative, vow to spread it nationwide there in Iran. Crowd roars Allah Akbar. Let's watch this short clip about that.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحیم به حول قوه الهی ورامین مبدأ قیام 15 خرداد مردان و زنان دلیرش تصمیم گرفتن که انشاءالله یک جایزه ای رو در نظر بگیرن برای کسی که ترامپ یا نتانیاهو رو بکشه. جایزه اون فرد از طرف مردان و زنان ورامینی 100 کیلوگرم طلاست. 100 کیلوگرم طلاست.
100 kilograms of gold is a lot of freaking gold.
Those are nice little those posters they had up there, wanted posters. Yeah, another cute but ineffective psyop right there. That would imply that these criminals actually face justice, and we all know different now, don't we? Rather, what they should do... I
don't know. Maybe some of their inside security would turn on them. I don't know. That's a lot of gold.
Sam, do you live in the same world as me? It's nice to have hope, though. But in general, I'm call me skeptical. I'm on the fence. But what would be interesting and would probably be far more effective if we could actually make it work for us. But again, maybe this is the skepticism for some people. But you do have to win the hearts and the minds of the people to make something like this work. Change those posters. Keep them just the way they are, looking like wanted posters, because that's an impressionable thing on your brain. I'm speaking like a branding person and a guy who does graphic design. And simply make one tiny change. Instead of it saying wanted, change that word to unwanted. Do you see what I did there? If enough people can see those faces and associate the word unwanted with those faces, they will reject those people. It's like a little psychological trick. A visual NLP, as it were. There you go. Follow me for more life tips, kids.
Thank you for that life hack advice. Maybe Iran should listen. Well, you want me to not think it's all fake, Ruckus? Here's it's all kayfabe, literally professional wrestling. Here's Bobby Kennedy Jr. with professional wrestling showing you the belts. It's literally all freaking fake.
In a semi-related thing, I was just thinking to myself the other day, how is it that Iran gets away with making all these really slick Lego propaganda things? And I haven't heard a peep from Lego, the company. Usually if you just you fart in the wrong direction on somebody's trademark and there's a big stink about it, I haven't heard anything about them saying we condone all, you know what I mean? Maybe it's out there, but it certainly hasn't been put forward to me on my stream or in the mainstream. I haven't heard anybody talking about it. So it's very odd to me because I know I can't make a Lego video without somebody saying, hey, that's a copyright takedown or whatever. You know what I mean? It's kind of very strange, just a little off. Anyways, just a small observation.
This week, Bobby Kennedy Jr. joined WWE and 75 kids at BGCA clubs. Was that Boys and Girls of America clubs in Atlantic City, New Jersey, to officially kick off the return of presidential fitness test and launch the Get Kids Active campaign. They're literally telling you it's all professional. Here they are again. Like, dude, it's literally professional wrestling. They're telling you.
They got their wires crossed. They didn't realize it was the Boys and Girls Club. They thought it was never mind.
Oh, do we feel? I'm getting more disturbed by the day by Bobby Kennedy Jr. I want to like him. I want Maha. It's not happening. He's posting this now. I'm having a hard time taking advice from him. He says, meeting with a few of my senior advisors on our next Maha win. Bobby Kennedy Jr. posted this. I'm having a hard time taking health advice from him, Ruckus, especially mental.
What is with him and the animals? What the F is going on? Okay, note to self. I should write this down. Y'all remind me. Somebody out there, do a deep dive into, like, there's got to be some sort of weird esoteric. Is there like some sort of what Greek or pagan god from history? It's like, who? Why? He's got this way with the animals. I'll give him that. He's like the Dr. Dolittle or something. It's crazy weird. It's very weird. Anyways, maybe it was the brainworms that gave him special power. Who knows?
Maybe he found something when he cut off that, when he was researching. No? Okay, I'll move on. Okay, back to more fun reporting here. But they literally told you it's all WWE professional wrestling. I mean, it is good for the youth to be fit, obviously. Everybody should be fit. But when they're literally showing you it's fake, kayfabe. My gosh. Okay. On to some more, some better news here, Ruckus. Albanian clashes as a protest over Trump-linked resort boils over. They're calling it the Flamingo Revolution there in Albania. And now it's turned violent as violent protests in the streets against Trump's daughter Ivanka and Jared Kushner seizing a bunch of land there to build a luxury resort.
I thought you had the videos or something.
Well, here's a short clip from AP about it. They're hitting them in the streets with water cannons right now in Albania.
The Protestants want their voice to be heard inside, as the Prime Minister for so many days has not heard them and has ignored them. But enough is enough.
The Flamingo Revolution there, Ruckus.
Seems to be a trend taking place across the planet during my lifetime of, governments oppressing their people as they're protesting. Neat. Brings me back to the summer of love. It does my heart good to see that kind of thing. Doesn't it do the same for you, Sam? Bring back fond memories of a better time.
Demonstrators in Tirana threw eggs and objects at vehicles of lawmakers and ministers during ongoing protests opposing land seizures, the sale of Sazan Island to Jared Kushner, and transfers of protected lands to oligarchs. Albanian police responded with tear gas, water cannons, pepper spray outside Parliament, injuring 3 officers and 1 protester. The demonstration's part of the Flamingo Revolution.
See, they're doing it all wrong. Governments, if you want to stop a revolution, you can't be using tear gas. Oh, wait a minute. I shouldn't give them any ideas.
There's a bunch
I'm
of
sure
clips
from history, there's examples of that somewhere out there. You might be hard-pressed to find it the further we move towards the future. Google it, as the kids say.
Here's one you may like, Ruckus. We continue to
I
follow.
doubt it. It's not a propaganda, is it? Oh no.
Inside the Luddite Festival, harnessing Gen Z's rage against big tech, New York City's Summer of Lud Festival is teaching people how to live offline amid the suffocating presence of big tech.
I should trust you more. I do like this.
Mm-hmm. That's a report out of Wired magazine. And so they're putting on this festival on Sunday evening in the middle of Tompkins Square Park in New York City's East Village. Hundreds of people gather in front of a giant paper mache face of a woman wearing a crown right there. She's the backdrop of a play. Her body made up of curtains that look like a dress but serve as dual purpose, allowing actors to scurry on and off stage. That is pretty inventive, actually. That's actually a stage, or they're doing their stage work behind that thing.
That is clever. I was raised around a local theater group, did plays and stuff like that. My dad was a director and actor, and a lot of them, me and my sister were actors when we were little kids in these local plays. So yeah, no, that's very interesting.
Not crisis actors, right? You didn't help stage any false flag attacks, did you?
No, actual plays. Actually, our the local theater troupe, they almost exclusively, but not really, but musicals, and almost exclusively Rodgers and Hammerstein's. So like Oklahoma, Promises, Cinderella, stuff like that. Fun, Mame, anti-Mame, good stuff. South Pacific. Oh, anyway, sorry.
More reporting about this. The Summer of Lud, a week-long series of talks and activities like how to flirt and date offline, mending and learning to fight against data centers, all focused on getting people off their phones and into community. I think it's a good thing, honestly, but obviously they're damn terrorists for wanting to not have the surveillance centers and a microchip in their brain, right? Terrorists.
To be honest, they're damn terrorists for whatever reason the government feels like, Sam.
I agree.
Which is not going to feel so good when they change, the guard changes and it's on the shoes on the other foot, and then they're doing it to you people who are all like cheering this. Anyway.
Pretty good breakdown little festival. The Summer of Lud. I dig it. Okay, continuing here. ICE, are we going to get mass deportations? They did a giant surge. We're told ICE has detained 10,000 illegal aliens in the last 5 days in New York City. 10,000 out of 50 million. I don't know. It still seems like a drop in the bucket to me, but maybe it's something they're trying here now before the midterms to throw some red meat to the base. Immigrant arrests surged to 10,000 in 5 days as ICE clamps down in New York City. What do you think there, Ruckus? Are we getting
mass deportation, Sam? That's what this looks like, right? Maybe mass. Maybe each letter stands for something. It's like an acronym that we're not familiar with, like maneuvering at slow speed deportation. There you go.
10,000. Mr. Technocracy Vice President J.D. Vance said there's 50 million illegal aliens in this country. So I don't know what kind of, and I guess they don't even put out the numbers anymore. They gave up on that whole campaign.
Should I ask ChatGPT?
Ask them how many have been deported. The last numbers I saw is like 2.4
Sorry,
million.
it's got a circle spinning and says your request failed. Try again later.
Okay, on to the Epstein reporting, or actually child abuse in general. Quite horrific here. Now, 16 children rescued. This is not part of Epstein. This is apparently their own weirdness and child neglect and abuse going on. 16 children rescued from Ohio, from home in Ohio, were almost feral, authorities say. Report out of the Associated Press, 16 children from the same family who were rescued from a dilapidated house in rural Ohio were living in wretched conditions with human waste all around them, confined to just one room over much of the past 4 years, authorities said. Some of the children discovered 2 days ago on Tuesday were unable to speak, and one, an 18-year-old who was developmentally disabled, could not even write her name. Investigators said most of the livestock was kept in better condition than the children. The sheriff's department said the children's parents and grandparents were charged with felony child endangerment. The prosecutor said authorities found the children while carrying out a search warrant in an unrelated investigation. Ohio Attorney General Andy Wilson said in a Wednesday press conference, officials said it seemed as if no one outside the family knew about the children who weren't enrolled in school. We didn't know there were going to be 16 kids there, Wilson said, who was nearly at a loss for words in describing what officials found in the tiny village of Hamden, Ohio, that sits in one of Ohio's poorest counties. It's the type of thing that we're not used to seeing here in America.
Except for that whole satanic panic thing, right? You know, but
I'll post it goes on to describe
short-term memory America's got, yeah, all around in general.
Don't be a conspiracy guy, okay? Let's see here. Yeah, there's more sorted details there in the AP story. For those interested, it'll be posted at Weaponized News Substack. Here's
like for what strange reason would people decide to keep children off the radar and in large amounts and treat them like no better than livestock or animals? I can't even. Thank God I don't have a vivid imagination or anything like that. Yeah, this is what a dark, disturbing world, Sam.
Let's put up the headline and then. There it is. Telling you, man.
Why Ohio? What's up with that, J.D. Vance? Anyway.
Right. Old Ramaswampy.
I had no idea Hillary Clinton came from Ohio. Is that where she's from? Oh,
no,
shoot.
No, she's actually from, she's from Arkansas. No, she's from Chicago. She's a old school gangbanger.
You should ask who did you have on the other day? Paranoid American, right? Ask him. Hey, do you order that Adreno stuff from Ohio? Do they have a factory there or anything? That'd be an interesting question to ask him. I'm just totally kidding. I'm reaching for straws here. Help.
Department of Homeland Security posted this earlier today as part of our human trafficking task force with the IRS and LAPD. We are announcing the arrest of 10 defendants who have either been trafficking, indicted for trafficking by federal grand jury, or benefited from sex trafficking. So watch this short press conference about that.
This morning, as part of our human trafficking task force with Homeland Security investigations, IRS, and LAPD, we are announcing the arrest of 10 defendants who have either been indicted by federal grand jury for trafficking or benefiting from sex trafficking of individuals in the Figueroa corridor. 7 of the defendants are related to our prior operation, Broken Blade, targeting the Hoover Street Gang. 2 of the defendants have been charged separately for sex trafficking, Kylan Young from the East Coast Crips and Dejon Williams from the Neighborhood Crips. Young trafficked a 15-year-old victim through violence. Williams trafficked a 16 and 17-year-old victims as well as an adult through violence. A 10th individual, Kenny Ray Mann, also a sex trafficker who was trafficking 16 and 17-year-old girls, has been indicted.
There's more, Ruckus. Operation New Dawn. The operation resulted in 305 arrests and the recovery of 24 children, many of whom had been reported as kidnapped or missing. Operation New Dawn, 179 charges in massive Chicago anti-violence crackdown. Here's that headline. Operation New Dawn in Chicago.
Hey, see, there you go. That's I saw somebody make a comment about, I was joking about Hillary Clinton in Ohio, and somebody said Arkansas. No, she was actually born in Chicago. There you go.
And did a bunch of crimes there in Arkansas, I believe.
Well, you know, just, you know, read the books and watch the documentaries and judge for yourself. Google it, again, as the kids would say.
Could more Epstein files be released today? We're waiting because the DOJ faces court-ordered deadline to unredact names. The Trump administration may make more Epstein files public today. I don't know if they have yet. Obviously, it's ongoing. But Judge Emmett Sullivan ruled last week that the Trump administration has until today, Thursday, to release and unredact information in Epstein files as part of a lawsuit brought against the government by journalist Katie Fang. So Fang argued the Trump administration violated the Epstein Files Transparency Act by withholding documents and names of some people in the files without giving a proper explanation for the redactions. Fang pointed particularly to redacted names in emails that discuss women, redacted names of potential co-defendants in a draft indictment against Epstein, and missing FBI notes from agents' interview with a woman who alleged she was assaulted by President Trump, which Trump has denied.
That's a funny word, redacted. And now we got unredacted. And then if they accidentally unredacted something and it needs to be redacted again, is then that redacted? Tripping over my words here.
The DOJ, they did release, the Department of Justice releases more unredacted Epstein files today, including 8 secret emails about a reported torture video. And so honestly, I haven't had time to look into this, but we will be covering it tomorrow for sure. So a little bit more is trickling out here.
You know, it would be really nice if when we ask the government to be transparent with us about these things, we should get the version that I'm going to call the none redacted. How about that?
None redacted, huh? Yeah, there wasn't much reporting about it earlier today. Maybe more has come out, but we'll have to follow up on that tomorrow. All right, let's take our live commercial break here, Ruckus. We're at the top of the hour. Everybody go to weaponizednews.com. Get yourself a holograph sticker. We're past Pride Month, so you can fly it proudly again with all the colors of the rainbow there. weaponizednews.com/shop. Get yourself a white background sticker, a clear sticker. We got stickers, baseball caps, T-shirts, coffee mugs, shot glasses, as this show may induce heavy bouts of drinking. weaponizednews.com/shop. We take donations as well, help support independent reporting and analysis brought to you 5 days a week, broadcasting live, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 Eastern time. Buy me a coffee, Bitcoin wallet address, Cash App. All the links are in the description below this video. Become a paid subscriber of Weaponized News Substack channel. We give away everything free. We're streaming live on Substack. You'll get a summary of the show, the full show, and links to almost everything we talk about for documentation and further research purposes. Become a paid subscriber of Weaponized News Substack. Again, it's free. Show your support for our efforts here at Weaponized News, bringing you nonpartisan, independent reporting 5 days a week here, and triggering the left and the right. So we must be doing something correct. Give us that like, share, subscribe, push that notification button. All of that's free for you. Go ahead and plug away, Ruckus.
Sure. Thank you, sir. Head on over to alternatecurrentradio.com to get the catch-up with me and my colleagues and friends and what we got going over there. Of course, we've got the Boiler Room and Sunday Wire. I park my Roundabout Ruckus as the bucket for my previous appearances on Weaponized News, as well as other programs, such as I just recently was on air with Charlie Robinson for his podcast, Macroaggressions. So you'll find that there as well. Our friends and colleagues, Cavi and Sumo, who do the Mystical American Patriot Society, good stuff. I already mentioned Sunday Wire. But we are doing a huge Boiler Room tomorrow night while I'm thinking about it. So just wanted to give everybody a heads up that there'll be a special 4th of July Boiler Room. But anyways, you'll find all of that information at the website, alternatecurrentradio.com. You'll also find a link to how to reach out to me, including my Twitter X account, AC_wordslinger. If you like, send me a DM. You can find my donation, buy me a coffee, and all that jazz. See all my fancy memes that I post to like 20 people. Make it 21 if you like. There you go. Thank you very much, Sam.
Give us a follow at Weaponized News at AC_wordslinger. You can see right there at the bottom of your screen. Thank you for your attention to that matter. Welcome back to the second half of Weaponized News on this Thursday, July 2nd, 2026 edition. This is a crazy story here, Ruckus. Right down the street from me, actually. I don't know. It's like 45 minutes away. But in San Joaquin Central Valley, Wall Street Apes posted about their city council got recalled and they don't want to leave. Let's watch this video. Pretty crazy. I mean, residents of the small San Joaquin Valley city of Avenel, California, are furious. They voted in April to recall the majority of their city council, but the city council members are refusing to leave office. Over 75% of voters approved recalling all 4 officials. Kings County certified the results in May. Voters targeted Mayor Alvarado Presidio, council members Leticia Gamez, David Ramos, and Pablo Hernandez, 4 of the 5 council seats. The city leaders who are refusing to leave are saying the recall was conducted unlawfully by Kings County elections instead of the city itself and lacked proper city authorization. So they wanted to be able to give authorization for a vote to remove them. I looked into this. This is Wall Street Ape. He says, I looked into this and verified they should be removed. Under California law, the recalled Avenel officials should be removed from office. California recall process is governed by California Constitution, Article 2, Section 13-19, and California Elections Code, Division 11, 11,000, etc., citing all these codes there in the California law. Once a recall election is properly held and a majority votes yes to recall an official, that official is removed from office upon certification of election results. The election was conducted by Kings County. The county elections official, which is standard procedure for local recalls. When the city does not handle itself, the county certified the results after verifying the process. Let's watch this short video. I think they should just be dictators for life, because American democracy. What do you not like Mexicans?
What do you work for? Who do you work for? Who do you work for? You work for us. Who do you work for us?
Residents of the small San Joaquin Valley city of Avenal, California voted in April to recall the majority of their city council. But the city council members are refusing to leave office, saying that the recall vote was conducted unlawfully by the county when it should have been conducted by the city.
It is important for us to continue showing up. Enough is enough. This is not okay.
At a city council meeting on Thursday, tensions were high, and residents gave public comment that devolved into yelling and even police confrontation, although no one was arrested.
It's unfortunate that we do have community members who get very passionate about this issue. It's understandable because it's something near and dear to their heart. We're talking about our home. This is my home as well.
The movement of doing the recall was the first step in trying to gain accountability, holding leaders accountable for their actions.
Here's a little more background on this. The election targeted 4 of the 5 city council seats. These are the names of the people they targeted. Over 75%.
We covered that. So what do you think? They should just be dictators for life, right?
No.
And scream American democracy 250. No?
No, it should look something like this, right? And then, wee, bye-bye. Yeah, no, that's very strange. Yep, we voted you out. Well, that's too bad. We're going to stay anyways. You can't vote me out. I made myself dictator for life. Oh, okay. What on earth could a country do in that situation? It's, never been a problem in history before. There's never been a, arguably successful solution to that. Oh, that's right. America, the birth of this country. What were we? How did all that go down? Yeah, anyways, but yeah, this is crazy, man. Yep, just refused to leave. The vote was a fraud. The votes didn't count. There were stuffers in the ballots and the boxes under.
They wanted to run their own recall. They wanted to run
Yeah.
their own recall, a la Gavin Newsom, state of California.
Oh, it's like, where do they learn these things from? See, shit rolls downhill. Excuse my French, but they're watching and learning and observing. Monkey see, monkey do, right? Yeah, monkey do. Yeah, and it's we have to live like this is ridiculous. Again, what do you do? I mean, and you go out, you protest, and then we see what happens there. What are we going to be? They got the flamingos out in that one country there, or whatever, that the place that used to be a country, but now it's vacation Disneyland for Kushner and
Albania.
Oh, that's right, Albania. Alba not going to be here anymore.
And Ruckus too about Albania. That's what the film about staging fake wars, Wag the Dog, was set in Albania.
Kirsten Dunst and the kitty cat and all of that. Yes, sir, that's true.
75% of voters voted to recall their butt. So we went through American democracy and they said, no, we're in Soviet Union here. You don't understand.
It's a very slim margin. I mean, it was, too close to call.
The local little towns around here are corrupt as the day is long, let me tell you. Okay, continuing here. Well, it is California. What would you expect? Okay, on to the economic section. We got a lot of news to blast through here, Rugus. German Chancellor Merz announced an end to employees' right to call in sick without a doctor's notice. They're in Germany. Without a doctor's note, you're not allowed to call in sick to work now. What do you think of that? Trust the science?
Oh, there you go. I trust my doctor. Not that long ago, I was trusting Billy Boy, and now I'm trusting Donnie T. He's my doctor now. He cured my TDS, Sam.
The feds tell us the unemployment rate has fallen from 4.3 to 4.2%. We're in a golden age here. And they don't even count. And this unemployment number is rigged. We've covered it many times. They don't count those no longer looking for work, those underemployed. So you could probably triple, maybe even, I'd just say quadruple all economic data. And that's about where it is in reality on Main Street here now.
I see what they did there. They rebranded the hashtag winning, and they just call it the golden age now. But it's the same thing.
We went down 0.1%, and we're winning. It's the golden age. The economy's booming for Trump and AI and nobody else.
Dude, okay, listen. You want to know how well the economy is doing? I mean, things are fantastic. Just like a shocking slap in the face. I was doing a little research project for a personal pet thing, a music mix that I'm making for that we play at Alternate Current Radio. Because it's my birthday next month, and I wanted to do something special, and the 250th birthday, and my birthday, all this fun stuff. So I was watching a lot of old.
Your birthday's August?
No, it's in July. It's
well, we are in July. You said next month. It's this month.
Oh, shoot. See, I lost track of time.
Get in the right
I
month
thought it was
there,
June.
brother.
All right, so yeah, so it's this month already. Holy crap. This is how bad I don't want to turn 50.
You're getting
everybody.
old.
I'm
You're
in
getting
denial.
old.
Anyway, so I'm looking at old 70s and 80s TV commercials, and I was watching one today, and I had to do a double take, and I made a marker of the timestamp because I want to take a screenshot of it. It was a commercial for an old, it's from 1976. So the country was celebrating its 200th anniversary, right? With the bicentennial thing. And the commercial is for Vaughn's. It was like in California. I don't know if Vaughn's is still around. Probably not.
It is, yeah.
Supermarket chain, so you know Vaughn's. They were selling chuck roast, like this really nice looking chunk of meat, real beef, 49 cents a pound. Wow. And I forget what the exact cut was. And I went and I looked it up, and I looked at the price of what was comparable. I was like, holy, what the F is going on, dude? This is crazy. So yeah, back then you could get some good stuff. 49 cents a pound, Sam. How about that?
U.S. high school students face toughest summer job market since 1948, according to Fortune magazine. This is creepy. This is creepy, Ruckus. South Koreans use AI to reconstruct dead loved ones on video. Let's watch this short video. This doesn't seem right to me. Let the dead rest in peace.
환갑은 맞았구나. 표현이 서툴러서 저같은 좀 따뜻한 말 한마디 제대로 못 해줬어. 표현이 서툴러서 저같은 좀 따뜻한 말 한마디 제대로 못 해줬어.
처음에 받으셨던 거 보고 약간 좀 안 본다고 약간 이런 식으로 말하셨는데 결국 보시고 나서 약간 눈물 좀 흘리시더니.
아 그래요? 눈물이요?
네. 그래가지고 약간 좀 보람을 느꼈어요.
What the heck? So those are dead people, allegedly, or recreate? What is going on here? You know what? The more things change, the more they stay the same. This reminds me of the classic seance. And yeah, speaking of Googling things, you should learn what Harry Houdini had to say about all of that, the famous magician, who may or may not have been killed for some of the things he was trying to expose. Anyways, that's another story for another day.
Lee Gian Hooney 28 commissioned an AI animated message from his late grandfather. That's what that was. It just seems wrong to me.
Remember the story that went viral where somebody dug around or pulled up an old news clipping, but it was going crazy a little while ago recently about the Facebook Project Lazarus thing, where Facebook said that they were going to, hey, you know, you use our platform, we own the rights to you, your face, and when you die, we're going to keep posting for you. You saw that story, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's similar to that. And then, of course, the Trump talking to the Teddy Roosevelt thing, too, you know. Very odd. I wouldn't do this. I don't know if I mean, shoot, like not that long ago on my program, The Daily Ruckus, I played a few clips of some of these products. They come and go, flash in the pan. They don't stick around because they're creepy and weird. But there was one, it was an advertisement where it was like the lady trying to preserve her mom before it was too late, before the lady died or whatever. And so that she did, mom just talk for 3 minutes, and she's holding her phone like an app or whatever, and is scanning the mom as she's talking. And then now she had her mom with her forever as she got older, and then the kids and the grandkids, and it showed like the future, and it's like the great-great-grandkids talking to the dead grandma on their tablet or their brain chip hologram or whatever, you know. And that's like they're doing it. We're doing it, as Alex Karp would say, right?
Employers who laid off workers citing AI are already starting to regret it. That's a headline out of CNBC. Meta's Zuckerberg says AI development hasn't accelerated in the way we expected. That was a report out of Bloomberg. You think?
Does he mean the way he expected, or all of us?
I think he's talking about. Yeah, that is a good question. He's talking about the hive mind of big tech, a la U.S. intelligence, or is he talking about his own little piece of that Facebook. I don't know.
I read it the other way because, you know, they're like, well, shoot, that didn't go the way we planned. We were hoping everybody was going to lovingly accept it. Instead, they're like, what? How dare you give us this slop? We don't want it. No data centers and all the flock camera vandalism and the Luddite stuff. Yeah, so maybe that's what he meant, Sam. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink.
Goldman Sachs has said investors are rotating out of the Magnificent Seven and into AI beneficiaries such as semiconductor stocks, favoring them over hyperscalers bearing heavy AI spending.
A lot of these
Robinhood.
companies are learning the hard way, right? They're like, well, it's going to be cheaper. And then, you know what, to what degree is that their fault? Or is that really the people, the gatekeepers, the ones who are making these programs? They're like little drug dealers. Like the first taste is free or it's a little cheaper, then they change it.
They're smoking their own dopamine.
They depreciate the old model, so you can't use it anymore. You're forced into the new one, and now you're paying through the nose. And so that is like, oh, too late. You already fired all the people. Now they don't want to come back and work for you again. I think it's all by design. Sorry.
Robinhood CEO Tin Ev said AI agents will soon be as capable as human traders. Agentic AI spurred a boom in mobile app releases, but there is no sign of these apps gaining traction. Kind of like what you're saying there, Ruckus, about these creepy apps. Some of them you can see right here. This is from Financial Times, and you can see, yeah, they're pumping them out. They're pumping them out. Apps with significant usage, not so much, but they're pumping them out, right? They're pumping them out, that's for sure.
Also, these things in particular happen to be like, it's not that it necessarily comes with a steep learning curve. It comes with an invisible learning curve. And I find that very interesting, that it's like, you know, these things could be very powerful and very useful, but you would have to like seriously, honestly teach people how to properly use it. But then it kind of includes a basic grasp of the world around you, which again, they shot themselves in the foot. People aren't as keen or as smart or clever as they used to be. And I think it's a giant fail. It's like putting a more advanced toy in the hands of a toddler, and instead of interacting with it the way they intended it, they just pick it up and smash it on the floor.
Do you
know what I mean?
Do you remember the show from the 80s, Greatest American Hero?
Yes, yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, so for those that are not familiar with the show, dude gets a special suit from aliens that basically makes him Superman, gives him Superman-like powers. He can fly, he's bulletproof, all this stuff, faster than a speeding bullet, all this a la Superman kind of superpowers. But the problem is he lost the instruction manual to the suit, so he doesn't know how to use it. So he flies around and crashes into buildings all the time because he doesn't know how to control the suit's power. It's kind of like the AI. There is no instruction manual they give you with it. So you could very well have superpowers if you know how to use it, but there is no instruction manual.
And then it was a color. Was it the color red that would just halt everything? There you go. Yeah. Good show. That show didn't last long enough. That was a fascinating and good show, I thought, and a song that lived in the forever for a very long time after the show was gone, lived in memory. Believe it or not, I'm walking on air. Yeah, everyone knows that song. There you go.
Here's the reason why you should keep paying your FICA tax happily. 7 years from now, more or less, the Social Security system will go bust. There isn't enough coming in from people still working to cover the benefits going to people who are retired, and that's a report out of Forbes magazine. So be happy when you see that withholding of 7.5% out of your paying for your Social Security, Medicare, and federal unemployment. You should be very happy about it, because when it comes time for you to collect it, there will be no money in that fund, Ruckus.
Woohoo. Use it or lose it.
We do love being suckers of Ponzi schemes here in America, apparently, especially MAGA. Google now has to pay a record $4.7 billion fine in Europe. We hate them, YouTube. F Europe, right? Yeah. In 2018, the EU slapped the tech giant with a major fine because of Google's abuse of their monopoly powers. We don't believe them, YouTube. They're just being mean to you guys. Google fought the fine, but Europe's highest court has now ruled that they must pay, and there is no more ability for the corporation to appeal. Well, F them, Google, YouTube, right? Sure.
That is terribly unfair to Google. What did they ever do to you, Europe?
They stood up for the World Health Organization during the whole bat times, okay? And
that's right. See?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what you guys...
Oh, wait. Yeah, wait.
What about this headline? Ruckus, televised nervous breakdown. CEO of Palantir suffers a bit of a meltdown during live interview. We played a couple of the clips. He said he's the world's greatest CEO in support of Aardvark Clan.
It's funny you just mentioned that TV show, but the first time I saw Alex Karp, the hair reminded me of the character from that TV show. Wrong color, but curly like that.
So we should feel confident with him leading technocracy, having all of our personal data from Social Security to IRS.
I wouldn't trust that guy to wash his hands after using the bathroom before preparing a meal, Sam.
Why, he just had a nervous breakdown on live television yesterday.
Oh, wait. How many fingers has he got in that picture? Is he even real?
He has 4 fingers. I believe his thumb's blocked by the little, what do they call that? Chevron deal.
The lower third.
The lower third. The headline there, televised nervous breakdown. And so, as reported through Doge, they backdoored all our data with Palantir, thankfully. Foundry operating system now has created profiles of every American and I'm sure indexed us on different levels of kill lists. And so we appreciate the CEO of Palantir going on cable news and having a nervous breakdown, controlling all that data, right? Isn't that?
Maybe it wasn't him. Maybe he was a guy wearing a rubber mask or something, because Alex Karp has never acted like that. He's never had meltdowns or acted bizarre in public before.
No, he always acts like he's drugged up out of his mind.
Oh,
and he was accused of being on drugs. He says he's not on drugs. Now I'm even more concerned. You act like this on a natural? Damn, dude. There's something seriously wrong with this guy. And like you said, we shouldn't even trust him to serve food after going to the bathroom, never mind being in charge of the nation's data.
Or, yeah. Anyways.
Peter Thiel's funding a plan to build privatized city-states everywhere from Gaza and Venezuela to small towns in California. The goal is to replace a government with for-profit companies. Isn't that the ultimate libertarian anarcho-capitalist dream?
This is Peter Thiel who's doing that, said this? Okay, so yet again, another one of these instances where if you or I said this months ago, they'd be like, how dare you crazy conspiracy theorist? They would never. And then they come out and here's what we're doing. It's like, yeah, we love it. It's great. What?
Let's watch this short clip from More Perfect Union. I won't play the whole thing. It's like a 15-minute report. We'll just play a little bit of it and post the full report over there at Weaponized News Substack, or you can go to More Perfect Union on their X and see the full report.
I have been researching one of the weirdest stories that I've ever looked into. It's about a once fringe movement among the tech elite that aims to replace governments entirely with corporations. Privatized societies run by CEOs, built for profit, not for people. Almost like they wanted their own little worlds, playlands, built just for them based on their desires. I eventually pulled away from the story because it seemed a little more silly than anything to be concerned about. But then I realized they might already be getting their way. Just look at Doge and Palantir replacing or breaking the basics of the government. The plans for a futuristic, privatized new Gaza. AI infrastructure growth that seems immune to public opinion, and invasions of countries seemingly at random.
A new power structure in society.
They got a full, almost 15-minute report there. all about it, breaking it down there, Ruckus. So just skip government. Maybe it's already an organized crime syndicate working with all of these corporations. So maybe just skip government and say, yeah, all hail to all-seeing eye there from Palantir. And we don't even need government. And AI Alex Karp makes all the decisions after not washing his hands after going to the bathroom and serving us food.
Even if these people weren't coming right out and saying it, even if conspiracy theorists, allegedly in air quotes, people haven't been exposing this type of plan for a long time, even if this all wasn't just a giant plan going as far back as some of the current players, let's say granddads, just as an example, like Elon Musk, I'm looking at you.
Ruckus, they're still all under-reporting. It's been announced, and I don't see many people reporting it. The TechNate is the Greater North American Project. Okay, it's the same freaking thing. And the Department of War has announced this, very underreported, and people still, I see, posting TechNate, technocracy. It's called the Greater North America, okay? And it all lines up with the TechNate from the 1930s, Elon Musk, grandpappy Ruckus.
Which leads to my point I'm about to make right here, which is even if all of those things were or weren't true about this is a plan and moving in phases and all of that fun stuff, right? From the Illuminati, secret society, power controller, elite puppeteers, whatever, you know, insert your favorite flavor of Q, whatever. You know, I don't care. It doesn't matter. It's all the same. Right here, even if all that was true or none of it was true, you cannot deny that the reality is that the world around us, again, whether it was planned, staged, manipulated, or created, is moving in this direction. You know what I mean? So take all that other weird stuff out of it and just realize what's going on. And again, we can stop it, but we gotta make that like change in our brains from the wanted poster to the unwanted poster about a lot of this stuff, because a lot of these people cheer it, they love it, they think it's cool, not because they've done any research to say and make a decision for themselves, but the same way all of the propaganda and the mind control brainwashing works on the television. Like, again, when I was watching all the commercials from the 70s and 80s, I'm like, oh my God, dude, my childhood memories are comprised of not much else other than my favorite TV commercials. Like, I remember those commercials. Like, we've been brainwashed to buy stuff and love stuff and think that this is my favorite color. Is that really your favorite color? Or is it because your favorite person told you that that's your favorite color? You see what I mean? And that's where we're at, which is incredibly dangerous. And that's the break the mind control, as you were saying the other night there on your program, Sam.
That's the tagline of this show: break the mind control. More price fixing. We've been reporting this week about the semiconductor microchip makers price fixing on their memory, essentially here now, and paying off the Trump administration backdoor to help them out with their lawsuits on monopolistic business practices. Now we see a report about, remember when we had the giant egg price increase where nobody could afford eggs? Turns out new reporting reveals that executives from America's 3 biggest egg producers began colluding, i.e. price fixing, i.e. highly illegal, allegedly. If the Justice Department that covers up for Epstein would ever enforce a damn law, executives from Cal, Maine Foods, Hickman's, and Versova spoke of a phone call and message to coordinate bids on egg trading. While these producers blame the avian flu, they were actively and illegally collaborating to fix the price of eggs.
It's true. Historically speaking, big poultry is probably the biggest bullies in the of all the big, big pharma, big tech. Nobody is secretly. It's a well-known thing inside certain circles. Big poultry. Don't mess around with those guys. They're serious. They mean serious business. There, Sam.
A turkey should have actually been our national bird, according to Benjamin Franklin, rather than the eagle.
Isn't that ironic?
Big turkey or big poultry lost on that one, Ruckus.
Yeah, and not true story. Not for the reason some people think, like because at that time, I don't think people associated Turkey with the way we think of, like, oh, you're a turkey, right? I think that was a very noble. That was supposed to
It
be
was bold, strong, wild
something, right?
turkeys. Yeah, they
Yeah.
were tough. They were tough back in the day. All right, here you go. They have inside information. Here's Trump admitting they have inside information.
I feel badly in a way for my kids because every time my kids do, if they invest in a stock or if they go and do a bill, anything they do, because the presidency is so powerful, so big, everything, if they buy a cupcake company, well, the energy to make the cupcakes is, sort of like, how's my energy policy? So therefore you have a conflict. Almost anything they do, if they want to buy a truck, if they want to buy, if they buy an energy efficient truck, they have inside information. It's pretty tough in that sense. I tell my kids, stay away from as much as you can stay away from, but they also have a life,
What did Trump say not that long ago? Folks, they're going to find a reason to impeach me. What are you doing, bro? Anyways.
Trump announced his big 2-week ceasefire with Iran on April 7th. That same day, he sold up to $1 million in Exxon stock before the price declined from a near record high.
Isn't that what we've been saying or suggesting has been happening behind the scenes? You're telling me that's, more than just a likelihood that that's what's going on here?
It's 100% confirmed. That's exactly what's happening.
Oh, well, I'm sure it's fine. This goes on. All that. This is totally normal, totally acceptable, and we are okay with this because he's on our side, right?
Trump reported more than 21,000 trades across 8 investment accounts in 2025, averaging 80 trades per day.
Whoa.
Donald Trump
using AI. Yeah.
Donald Trump executed 3,642 securities transactions during the first quarter of this year, averaging nearly 58 trades for every U.S. trading day. That translates to roughly 9 trades every hour, or about 1 trade every 7 minutes during the time the market was open.
It's a full-time job.
Trump purchased between 217,000 and 530,000 in Micron Technology stock during March 2026. He just called Micron a great company after it committed to donate $250 million to President Trump's Trump accounts.
Which is why it's a great company.
Goldman Sachs to contribute $1,000 to Trump accounts for eligible children of employees.
I sense good things coming your way, Goldman Sachs.
U.S. job creation cools in June with payroll growth of just 47,000. Wah, wah, wah.
AI will fix it.
U.S. beef prices stay red hot for summer cookouts. Reuters. Ahead of Independence Day, July 4th, a major holiday for grilling. Wells Fargo Agri-Food Institute estimated the cost of summer barbecue for 10 people will rise by 2.4% from last year. Hamburger is up 14% from last year.
That's a small number, 14. Oh, wait, from last year?
Mm-hmm.
What?
Yeah, record hamburger prices. Forget steak. We're talking hamburger here now.
Hot dogs. What about hot dogs? Those are still cheap, right?
Not so much. They don't mention hot dogs here, but in this article, but everything's way up.
It's like those what do they got? The Hebrew internet. Oh, never mind.
Stay kosher here with me. So it looks like all this AI circle jerk giant biggest fraud we've ever seen. They're going to want a federal bailout, and they will get it. They've already essentially been deemed too big to fail, too big to jail. The Financial Times reported OpenAI is discussing giving U.S. government a 5% equity stake as part of a public benefit proposal. CEO Sam Altman has suggested that OpenAI and other major AI firms, including Anthropic, how you got to teach me how to pronounce that, Ruckus.
Anthropic. Oh wait, you got me.
Anthropic.
Anthropic.
Anthropic, Google, and Meta gave 5% equity to a fund modeled on the Alaska Permanent Fund. He argues this is the best way to share AI benefits with the public. A deal could require an act of Congress, and Altman has reportedly discussed public ownership with President Trump, Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick, Treasury Secretary Bissett, Senator Bernie Sanders, who has proposed a sovereign wealth fund financed by a one-time 50% tax on major AI company stock. To me, I read this story and it says they want a bailout because they know that they don't produce any revenue, and it's a circle jerk of fraud and a hall of mirrors of corruption. And so bail me out because you own a 5% stake in my company, Uncle Sam.
Yep. Yeah, people were warning about this not that long ago, and people like Sam Altman were flatly denying, oh, no, we would know. They were, and government was like, oh, no, we would never. And like, we're really right. This is the beginning of that. This is like laying the foundation for that, legally speaking. So, nobody learns their lesson. Short-term memory. Goldfish America. There you go.
Too big to fail, too big to jail. Gas is still up. I don't know what they're talking about. The golden age gas is, I guess it's below $4 threshold, but on average across America, according to AAA, the price for a gallon of gasoline is still at $3.84. Here it is. It's still up there, man. And so all this golden age, I can't afford to barbecue a hamburger on 4th of July, bro. Like, look. And of course, over here in California, it's still well above $5. And we've said the difference is state regulations and taxes there. They're really killing us in California. But even where you're at there in Texas, $3.34. But on average across America, you can see $3.84. And it didn't really budge from yesterday, as the Strait of Hormuz is still being contested here now, Ruckus. Goldman Sachs estimated it's opening up now, I guess, maybe, possibly, if they don't start shooting, which they could at any time. Goldman Sachs estimates oil exports from the Persian Gulf have recovered at least to 79% of pre-war levels, with a 7-day moving average of 18.2 barrels per day by late June. Here's a little chart they put up so you can see it is trying to get back on track here now, but struggling to get the commerce flowing through the Strait of Hormuz and the Persian Gulf there. More reporting on this. European powers accept Strait of Hormuz transit fees as new reality. Several leading European countries now privately accept that ships transiting the Strait of Hormuz will likely have to pay service fees to Iran and Oman, according to Bloomberg. And so they're literally standing there with a gun saying, pay us for the environment or we shoot you in the face, bro. It's for the environment. What are you, some kind of damn climate denier? I haven't seen that rhetoric out of Iran, but why wouldn't you spin that rhetoric in your favor and charge environmental fees to pass by, or we shoot you in the face, Ruckus?
Could be a trial run, a beta test or something. You know, you can always change the thing, the reasoning, and all this. It's the play itself, the acting of the doing, the gun pointing, and all that. That really matters.
The U.S. and Oman are trying to persuade Iran to stop demanding tolls for ships passing through the Strait of Hormuz by offering access to billions of dollars in frozen Iranian funds. Iran has rejected the offer, insisting it controls the strait and warning it will act against ships using unauthorized routes. Iran wants to collect tolls that could generate up to $40 billion annually, but the United States and Gulf states oppose the idea. Oman has proposed a voluntary international fund to pay for maritime services instead, but Iran has so far refused because it won't receive direct funding. That's a report out of the Wall Street Journal. Why is the Strait of Hormuz not straight, Ruckus? Look, it's not straight.
Yes, you're no, not that kind of straight. That's what your phone does when you're trying to talk to text, though. You get the misspelled, like it's the homonyms, or what those words are that sound the same or whatever, spelled differently. I think that's the word, right? Yeah. Anyways, yeah, fun stuff.
I understand it's a geographic definition.
Again, with all of these, like, all these fancy numbers and these charts and these things, and then like when you dial it in and you talk to the real economists, the ones who actually went to school and study these things and for a living and things, which a lot of it's way over my head. But I do watch, a lot of those cryptocurrency people, the finance people. Mark Moss is a guy that I follow. You follow who's some of these smart people like George? What's that guy's name? They're all out there. We all follow them. So we all kind of, to a degree, understand the way a lot of this works as far as the economy is concerned. And you're not kidding anybody. Just look at what happened during the bat times, right? Whatever they're doing or playing with in the background, we are still headed for a world of hurt. You can't just quickly fix these things. Again, I think I've said it, you've said it, lots of people have said it. They could open the whole thing wide open tomorrow, problem solved, and we're good and we're all happy. Like, no, we still got a world of hurt coming. Even Trump has said it. He's like, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. So again, like, why do we keep pretending? And I think a part of it is because they just want to drag everybody through this final, like, celebration of America. And why it's kind of like when the impending asteroid is coming. Don't tell them. That'd be depressing. Let them have their fun. Let them have their cake and their party and their state world fair. And then the rug will get ripped out from under them. Maybe a lot of these billionaire and Fortune 500 companies are just holding us up right now, just making it look like things are okay to keep everybody going. But they'd have to do that all the way up until the elections if they have any chance of actually maintaining some sort of actual working power, if I'm not mistaken. But anyways, just an observation I make. I hear a lot of people, they say like, the prices, the gas is going lower. We're winning. I'm like, okay. All right, maybe for right this second, but I hope you're right. But unless you know something I don't know about the way all of this works, I'm a little skeptical as usual.
Hopium doesn't fill the belly, and government lies and propaganda, they don't fill the belly either, here, Ruckus.
Well, gosh darn it, because if it did, I'd be sitting pretty, right? Yeah.
We'd all be sitting fat and pretty if government lies and propaganda filled your belly. Thankfully, we've started shipping dollars to Iraq again, and so U.S. resumes dollar shipments to Iraq months after suspension. The United States has restarted some air shipments of U.S. dollars to Iraq months after pausing them in an effort to pressure Baghdad to reduce its ties with Iran. So they're being good, so we're paying them off there. But we don't negotiate with terrorists, Ruckus.
We don't?
Well, they're paying off the terrorists in Iraq right now.
Oh, well, yes, right. We fund the terrorists. That's what we do.
We don't negotiate. Fund them. We don't negotiate. We fund them. We train them and we arm them to create the best enemy money can buy. And they're not a very good enemy. So there's a big heat wave everywhere, all over Europe. A bunch of news
and
about.
It's our fault. It's our fault. Well, I just want to apologize right now to Europe. It's all our fault. Go ahead.
It's Texas's fault because they have air conditioning. Ma'am Daddy suggested setting your thermostat in New York City to 78 degrees, and now you can't fish because calmies took over, and you're going to spontaneously combust, is the propaganda coming out of MAGA quack clownfluencers. Here is how And by the way, it's hot during the summer. I know that's shocking to some out there, but it's always been hot during the summer. Here's how China is dealing in a highly populated area with some of the heat. Maybe we could take a hint from China. I don't know. Here's some. They have these mister sprayers on top of their big buildings to cool things down. I think I'll kill that music because they'll copyright me most likely. But yeah, is this AI or what? I don't know. But either way, AI or real, not a bad idea to cool down densely populated areas there in the summer.
I'm glad you asked if that was AI, because now I think it is. I mean, like, the chances to get that just right, to see the rainbow across the water. No, actually, I think that was legit. That's a fascinating idea. They used to do that outside of like restaurants and stuff during summer times. I don't know if they do that anymore. But yeah, imagine that, just, some water misting through the air. Such a simple solution could help you cool, but, yeah, we prefer to have you hot and miserable and suffering. Yeah, stay indoors. Well, what? This is crazy.
Everything in America has to be politicized, and so it has nothing to do with Mother Nature. The fact that we could innovate and cool people down. It's damn Democrat socialists that keep winning elections.
Somebody tell Trump.
That's why you're hot.
China.
You're hot during the summer because Democrat socialists are winning elections here in America. Ruckus.
Tell Trump that China is winning the innovation to stay cool race, and maybe we'll get somewhere.
Indeed. Saudi Arabia Crown Prince, what is it? MBS. He lost confidence in Trump after U.S. failure in Iran. A big report says Saudi Arabia has lost confidence in U.S. President Trump. MAGA, take a hint from Saudi Arabia, the head choppers, they can figure it out. Why can't you? Continuing here, Saudi Arabia lost confidence in President Trump after his failure to win the war against Iran, triggering a clash between Washington and Saudi Arabia. This clash occurred after the kingdom prevented Washington from accessing its airspace following the launch of, quote, Project Freedom, a failed U.S. effort to assist stranded vessels in the Strait of Hormuz weeks after the U.S. and Iran declared a ceasefire. The failing New York Times cited, sources cited by the failing New York Times said Trump was in a bind after a month of all-out war against the Iran. U.S. Central Command was readying itself to start Project Freedom, officials told New York Times, adding that naval and air attacks were being prepared to ward off any Iranian resistance. However, CENTCOM was caught by surprise when officials from Saudi Arabia said American forces could not use the kingdom's airspace for the mission. So should they blow up another building in New York for this transgression against Saudi Arabia? I think it's about time, and have Laura Loomer cheer it on. Ruckus, what do you think?
I was just gonna say, don't make Laura Loomer all happy. Come on now. Yeah, don't get any ideas. Yeah, there's lots of weird stuff going on with a lot of this. That's the next shoe to drop that I'm very worried about. I mean, I joke about the alien thing. I am very concerned about the fake alien invasion. I don't think we're ready for that just quite yet. Thank goodness. But I am worried about this Laura Loomer boomer idea. A lot of this talk about like, oh, the Iran and the terrorists, and they're going to do what you were just insinuating there about the 9 to the / to the 1 event that happened some time ago in the past. The event that shall not be named.
Taylor Swift wedding's coming up in New York. Yeah. Prime target.
Hey, yeah, no. So I'm sure all of the symbologists and the folks that pay attention to the occult symbology, and you can do your little graphing and bring out your compass and your square and measure the ley lines and look at the stars and do all the numbers and numerology. And yeah, whether or not that's true, because a lot of it might be. But yes, I am very worried that that's a real possibility that somebody, I don't know who it could be, could stage some sort of false flag attack, make it look like XYZ did it, and it just serves so many more. Like, I mean, geez, if the 9 to the / to the 1 event taught us anything, they love to use these things as an excuse to yet again take away more of our freedom, which is why these types of things, they come out like, oh no, Project Operation Freedom. No, get out of here with that garbage.
Maybe this time, when they stage a false flag attack and blame it on Iran, we actually attack Iran. Nah, we'll probably attack somebody else. I don't know who. I don't know.
It was
Cuba.
North Korea was funding them.
It was Cuba. Okay. We have more of that. See, aardvarks are not that bad. They're looking to assist now in disaster relief efforts in Venezuela. Aardvark soldiers have been spotted in a Caracas hotel, making this the first aardvark land presence in Venezuela since 2009. So they're back there. They're helping, Ruckus. Here's the
soldiers.
Aardvark soldiers are helping in the Venezuelan earthquake relief efforts. Nothing to do with the child trafficking, looting, and other crimes going on there.
I did not see that coming.
See, they're great. And they're being laughed out of the room. In this report from the Cradle, they say the deployment has been slammed as a propaganda stunt as Aardvark land continues to commit genocide in Gaza and commit war crimes in Lebanon. But hey, they care about the victims of an earthquake in Venezuela, let me tell you.
Yeah, I don't think those are real soldiers. I think they're actors. We all know that those are most likely probably art students, right? Working on an art project.
Most likely, yes. Let's watch this. Let's watch this report. Bankart chairman and CTO Bank Rakhtar compares AI-powered combat drones to the computer that defeated Garry Kasparov. Wasn't that the IBM one? I think it was, right?
Watson, maybe. I don't know.
I think so. That defeated the famous Garry Kasparov chess player, arguing that the comparison between human pilots and autonomous aircraft is becoming obsolete. Let's watch this short report because we saw the report last week that 2 years ago, they say in Ukraine, an AI-powered autonomous drone went about autonomously killing Russians. That's what was reported out there last week. So maybe this stuff is coming online and being able to kill humans autonomously. It was reported the first time an autonomous drone ever killed somebody 2 years ago, last week, by Ukraine killing a Russian. Let's watch this report. If we can get to it. Here we go.
What Kızılelma does could be likened to what a machine that beat Kasparov 20 years back does. Kasparov was the grand chess master. Maybe he trained for 40 years to become so. But a machine the size of a refrigerator beat Kasparov. And after that day, my cell phone beats Kasparov. So the match doesn't make any sense. So here, you don't have any man inside the aircraft. It can do anything that a man fighter can do and do more because it doesn't have the man, and it's much cheaper. So it's like a match against Kasparov against the machine. We don't need training time. You need to train a pilot maybe 10 years to become a fighter pilot. And he has a lot to lose. He has a family. The human element is the most expensive item.
The human element is the most expensive. What do we make of this?
By the way, real quick, because I want to correct myself, the Watson model was the one that beat Ken Jennings, the Jeopardy champion. The name of the IBM model, because it's still IBM, HAL 9000 IBM, but it was Deep Blue. That was the name of the computer program that beat Garry Kasparov. Sorry, there you go.
Are we going? Is Cuba next? Can we blame a?
By the way, in 1997. Sorry.
Can we blame a false flag attack on Cuba? Remember they ran some type of operation, like some kind of black ops, and Cuba caught them and gunned them down. They were trying to exiled Cubans was trying to do some kind of Bay of Pigs type covert mission there a couple months back, little Marco Rubio, Trump, a bunch of them have said Cuba's next. Here's Cuba's president Diaz Canal in an interview with Sky News. He says, we've been under the blockade for 60 years. Crazy, man, if you think about it. Let's watch a little bit of this interview. And they keep saying Cuba's next. Maybe Cuba's going to be behind the next false flag attack, correct?
Under the blockade for 60 years. It is the longest running blockade in the history of mankind. And it's not just any blockade. It is an economic, financial, commercial blockade, and now an energy blockade. And this blockade is not being imposed by any country. It is being imposed by the mightiest power in the world. The power that controls the use of hard currency, finance, trade, and energy globally. So the most perverse thing about the blockade is how long it has taken place in time. And the biggest affront to Cuba and the Cuban people who are suffering the blockade on a daily basis, and now in a tightened blockade, and the world that is against the blockade, is the narrative made by the US government in order to hide the main culprit of the Cuban situation right now, which is the blockade, and then put the blame on the Cuban government.
It's the call me Cuban government, not the weaponized US dollar, Ruckus.
Duh, obviously, we know. Yeah.
Shouldn't we just kill all of Cuba and turn into 15-minute Trump Gulf of America casino?
Well, I mean, all Cubans? Isn't that a little going too far? That sounds a bit like a genocide or something. We wouldn't want to do that.
It's kind of our thing. We're like in the season of genocide right now.
No, you're confusing us with somebody else, our greatest ally. We're just complicit. Oh, wait, I guess that's just as bad.
He went on to say, we don't want war. It sounds like he's threatening us, Ruckus.
That does sound like a threat, actually, now that you say it like that. Dang it.
He says, we don't want war, but we're not afraid of it. That's enough for me. Send in the Marines. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no. Send in the discombobulator. Yeah.
Here's a crazy story out of Indonesia. A separatist Papua rebel claimed to kill an American pilot, burn the plane in a warning to the U.S. and Indonesia. So there's this separatist group in Indonesia that caught an American. Here's his dead body. And they whacked him and burned his plane. Not good. They're Nicholas F. Gosselin, American pilot, shot dead and his plane burned. So it looks like we may have to, I don't know, bomb Indonesia.
I couldn't even find that on a map, dude. So I don't know. Indonesia? Is that like a new country or something?
There's a bunch of Muslims there, dude.
Oh, wow. Bombs away.
Indonesia police military officials confirmed a burned plane carrying one American pilot and 7 Papuan passengers was found at a local airport, though they say they could not yet verify whether rebels attacked it and whether the pilot was killed. I don't know. They put up a picture of his dead body laying there. We may have to bomb Indonesia soon here now. Amnesty International reported today, put out a big report affirming that Sudan's Rapid Support Forces, RSF, are committing genocide, crimes against humanity, and ethnic cleansing during their campaign to seize El Fasher. The investigation, which involved interviewing 247 survivors and witnesses and analyzing extensive satellite imagery details a horrifying array of abuse, including mass execution, sexual violence, and the abduction of children from non-Arab ethnic groups, particularly the Zaghawa people. Evidence confirms that civilians and critical infrastructure such as the Saudi maternity hospital were intentionally targeted to displace populations and render the region uninhabitable. RSF fighters were documented burning homes long after residents had fled to ensure they could not return. The report highlights the Burm massacre, where hundreds were executed and thrown into a 57-meter network of trenches as they attempted to flee the city. Furthermore, children have been deliberately targeted for abduction, rape, and forced recruitment, while RSF fighters used the slur Falangay, indicating slavery, to label non-Arab civilians. In response to these atrocities, the organization calls for a global arms embargo, specifically demanding that countries stop providing weapons to the UAE, the RSF's chief backer, and the immediate deployment of an international protection force to safeguard civilians there in the Sudan.
World police?
UN, maybe. Peacekeepers.
They're doing their summit in Turkey soon.
Peacekeepers. So we caught Putin. He blew up his the Nord Stream. Remember, he blew up his own pipeline. No, actually, turns out German federal prosecutors indicted a 55-year-old Ukrainian man identified as Shurhai K over the 2022 destruction of Nord Stream 1 and 2 pipelines linking Russia to Europe. So obviously it was Putin, the evil man, that blew up his own pipelines, right, Ruckus?
Wrong.
That was a report out of Reuters. I don't know. It's mainstream. But if you said that in 2022, you'd be banned and called a Russian
and I trust
agent.
Reuters.
Well, you'd be called. Well, they're reporting on. I trust that German federal prosecutors did indict this guy. Or maybe it is all made up. I don't know, but I
trust that independent journalists and fine folks already exposed all this crap some time ago, and now it's just like, oh well, I guess this is how we quietly admit that that was all true. Yeah, that kind of stuff going on again as usual. Forget, like, who even remembers, like, oh yeah, there was yeah, okay, that was a big deal back then, like, but nobody even remembers now or thinks about it. It's so crazy. Short-term memory, Goldfish America.
Russia strikes on Kiev, kill at least 21. Russia's having a major retaliation attack here now from Ukraine, shooting Flamingo missiles and a bunch of other drones into their petrol manufacturing facilities, causing a gas shortage in Russia. Now Russia has responded with heavy attacks on Kiev. The latest attack here, killing at least 21. There's one video. How long is this one? Russia drones strike a indoor swimming pool, injuring 4 there in Ukraine. There's a long video posted by the Clash Report. This is like almost 8 minutes of just ongoing Russian bombing attacks on Kiev. We'll just show a short clip of this, but yeah, ongoing retaliation attack. It's just never ending. Get to the report. 2 million dead now because of this. Trump promised if elected he would end the bloodshed in 24 hours. We're now a year plus into it, with the war intensifying at this point. Thanks a lot, Trump loser. And you can see, you get the picture. There's 8 minutes almost of that, and it just goes on and on and on of Russian retaliation attacks against Ukraine.
Sometimes I wonder if these people, when they say like they're going to reduce or stop the amount of bloodshed, they don't mean it in the traditional sense where it's there's a single word together, bloodshed, and they mean blood shed. They want to reduce the amount of blood that's shed, meaning they use these like fancy weapons that just incinerate you and there's no blood being shed anywhere.
Aerial footage shows massive fuel queues in Russia as Ukrainian refinery strikes bite. Long convoys of cars and trucks snake along the highway around a fuel station in rural Russia. Let's watch this short clip. Yeah, Russia's pissed. Russia is freaking pissed. Wow, that's a long queue to get in line to get some fuel there in Russia.
Russia's bad.
Putin's bad. Russia's bad. NATO probably bragging on Fox News they're killing 30,000 to 35,000 Russians a week.
What is between 30 and 35? Why don't we pick a number in between? Any number coming to mind?
33,000 a week, Ruckus. How about that? They should have just settled on that and everybody would be happy with all those dead Russians. CNN reports bloodier than Stalingrad. Number of casualties in Russia's war on Ukraine reaches 2 million. That's a lot of dead Russians and dead Ukrainians. Russia's decision to launch a full-scale invasion of Ukraine has now cost the country some 450,000 lives, according to a new study that estimates the war's total casualty numbers have surpassed 2 million. The research by the Center for Strategic and International Studies estimates Russia has suffered 1.4 million casualties, including killed, wounded, and missing soldiers, a stunning number that amounts to roughly 1% of the country's population. Kill those dirty Russians, right?
All these wars and this death and this killing is fantastic news for an overpopulated world, Sam. You got to just make lemonade out of those lemons, my friend.
Meanwhile, Ukraine is estimated to have endured between 525,000 to 625,000 casualties, including 125,000 and 150,000 fatalities. Jeez. Like a whole generation of Ukrainians is gone. Now, you understand that? What has happened here? Jeez. And there's video after video after video of the forced conscription. Literally, they're still in the Ukraine, driving around the streets, grabbing any military-age men off the streets that are not in the Ukrainian military and conscripting them like right now. You know what I mean? Like it's ongoing. Quite a horrific situation there, Ruckus.
Still waiting for that phone call.
Let's watch this report from Ben Swan about USAID. And I'm seeing, and I didn't get a chance because of the length of the show to cover, but there's also rumblings out there that USAID was fundamental in funding the rap game here in America and to undermine Black communities and society as a whole for social engineering of gang culture and violence here in America. There's a bunch of that reporting coming out, being funding tied back to USAID, but this is USAID funding in Ukraine. Let's watch this report from Ben Swan. Sorry about that side note, but I did find it interesting that what is it? There's no rap music in the top Billboard Top 100, and people are making the correlation between an end of USAID USAID funding to the rap industry, to the music industry. There may be a there. We'll have to follow up on that. This was just a report from Ben Swan on USAID.
Did USAID help fund a revolution? One that ultimately led to a conflict that has claimed hundreds of thousands of lives. It's a question that sounds absurd, right? Until you start to follow the money. See, for years, USAID has been presented as America's humanitarian arm, building schools, delivering aid. In fact, the name almost sounds like it's US aid, but it's not. They claim to promote democracy. But critics argue that in Ukraine, it was doing far more than that. Reports now claim USAID helped support the 2014 Maidan revolution, a claim Elon Musk recently publicly backed. Roughly 15,000 people were killed over the course of those 8 years, and then came a full-on conflict with Russia in 2022, a conflict that has taken hundreds of thousands of lives. So if US-funded programs helped to shape the events that led to that chain reaction, what responsibility, if any, should they bear in the deaths? It is a question worth asking, and a debate that few in the mainstream media seem eager to have. So the claim there isn't just that Ukraine received billions to fund a war from USAID, as if that wasn't egregious enough, but a portion of that money was laundered back into the United States to fund the Biden campaign in 2024. Well, now Zelensky's comment might make a little more sense. Remember this one?
З війни отримала 200 мільярдів на підтримку армії тощо, це неправда. Я не знаю, де всі ці гроші.
It doesn't stop there, because when there is media, we have to talk about that part too. Reports have indicated that 9 out of 10 Ukrainian media outlets receive the majority of their funding from USAID. That's 90% of all Ukrainian media. Supporters say that funding would help to keep independent journalism alive during war. But critics argue it created a media ecosystem dependent on American funding. So what does that mean? It also means no independence in that reporting. That doesn't automatically make the reporting false, but it certainly supports the claim that USAID fomented so much of the situation in Ukraine by controlling 90% of its media. And yet, even another term, Burisma, remember that name? The Ukrainian gas company that became a household name because of Hunter Biden's position on its board? Well, that company was facing corruption scrutiny. And while that happened, it also benefited from a USAID-related program. Leaves another question. If USAID exists to provide humanitarian assistance, so why was it connected to a private for-profit energy company? Even more interesting, a Burisma executive involved in a 2014 agreement was later detained in an alleged bribery scheme after having previously been identified in an earlier British corruption investigation. Again, questions, so many questions, and so few answers. What do we know, and what do we know tonight is that before recent funding cuts, Ukraine received more USAID money than any other country on earth. More than $16 billion. That is not a rounding error. That is a foreign policy. Just sit on that number for a second. $16 billion from USAID flowing into Ukraine. So when politicians tell you USAID is about charity, ask them what kind of charity funds media organizations, works alongside political transitions, helps to launch wars, and ends up connected to one of the world's most controversial energy companies. Great. Bottom line, the decisions made in 2014 in Ukraine helped shape everything that came after. And the people who paid the highest price, the hundreds of thousands of Ukrainians and Russians who never made it home from that war. So following that now known narrative, if USAID has done that in Ukraine, what are they doing here in the US?
Who's going to tell them, Sam?
They're helping. They're helping, Ruckus.
Hey, let's see the.
We're
anyways,
helping.
yeah. USA, full, interesting. Totally not a cutout of the CIA whatsoever, right? They just work very closely together. At least that's what they did, in the 60s and the 70s, where they were like, the CIA was working under USAID cover and doing fun stuff like teaching, you know, other police departments in other countries how to do things like commit counterinsurgency and torture people, fun stuff like that on record now. Anyways, yeah, fun stuff. Right?
Engineering color revolutions all around the world.
Oh, gee, yeah. There's some historical precedents for this, you mean, outside of everything that Mr. Swan was speaking about? I'm shocked, totally shocked.
Here's a trigger warning for you, Ruckus. Antiseptic behavior coming out of an American church, shockingly enough. The General Assembly of the Presbyterian Church in America represents the United States' largest Presbyterian denomination, voted 454 to 15 2 days ago, Tuesday, to identify Aardvark Land's war on Gaza as a genocide, to lobby Congress for an arms embargo, and to encourage members to boycott Aardvark Land products tied to the war. So should we bomb the Presbyterian Church here? Should they be, well, the Justice Department should go after them for antiseptic behavior. They have the antiseptic task force, right? And so they should target the Presbyterian Church for this transgression, right?
So many choices. I don't even know which to pick, man. Coke or Pepsi?
It's bad. They're bombing the hell out of Lebanon continually, as we continue to report here. Aardvark forces carried out at least 4 drone strikes there in southern Lebanon yesterday. It's ongoing today. I saw, here's Aardvark occupation forces detonate southern Lebanese homes in latest ceasefire violation. Now they're going around burning the Lebanese out of their homes if they're there. There's a bunch of video of it. Due to the interest of time, we'll skip ahead. But yeah, it's ongoing as we continue to report every day. Targeting with the IDF now is targeting Lebanon with arson, targeting agricultural lands. And so they're making it unlivable. I don't know how I guess they're going to have what they call the quote security zone there. It's unlivable. Spraying glyphosate everywhere, using white phosphorus, burning people's homes down. And so it's ongoing attacks on southern Lebanon under a ceasefire, Ruckus. Another report here, they launched 16 separate airstrikes on a apartment building in Lebanon, in Tbn village in southern Lebanon. And it just goes, there's video of it. We don't have time to play it, but it maybe we'll play this one. Let's see. Yeah, we don't have time.
Say what you will about Aardvark Land, Sam. You must admit they're committed and dedicated to their causes, yes?
They are. I give them that. Lebanese civil defense workers slept in their cars to continue rescuing people from the rubble. One of those cars was targeted for destruction and killed the medic inside. There's a systemic, as we report every week, I think I remember last week, there's a systemic campaign to kill all public health, doctors, nurses, paramedics, first responders, anybody with a Band-Aid. You have a target on you there in Lebanon that may help an injured Lebanese as the ground invasion of southern Lebanon continues, Ruckus. Those are all war crimes. Those are crimes against humanity.
Well,
they have the big red cross. You're not supposed to target medical personnel in a war.
One man's war crimes is another man's war tactics, Sam.
We're learning that. They're learning that in Lebanon. Gaza marks 1,000 days of genocide as Palestinians reaffirm right to resist by all forms. I think we should have a press conference like this, Ruckus. The Boiler Room crew and me and you. And we should all go to the press conference like this. What do you think?
Count me out of that one. They certainly have enough excuses. I don't need to give them one more. There was this one time on an episode of Sunday Wire where through the whole thing I was wearing a full face balaclava mask as if I was one of the ICE agents or something. That was so uncomfortable and hot, but I kind of looked a little bit like in that picture. Pretty crazy. Yeah, there you go. It reminded me of that.
I still have my bat mask, and look, it works. See? Oh man, we got to laugh to keep from crying because there is genocide ongoing. Their Palestinian resistance factions released a joint statement earlier today marking 1,000 days of Aardvarkland genocide in the besieged Gaza Strip while affirming their right to resistance against occupation by all forms. 1,000 days have passed since the beginning of the Zionist genocide in Gaza, carried out with direct support from the United States and Western and other Western governments. We affirm our people's right to resist in all forms and the necessity of escalating resistance in the West Bank, Jerusalem, and all our occupied land. We reject any foreign tutelage over our people and affirm that the administration of the Gaza Strip is an internal matter.
Internal or eternal?
They say internal, like they're going to handle it themselves. They also called on the technocratic administration committee to enter Gaza and begin carrying out its duties while also urging comprehensive national dialogue to rebuild Palestinian institutions. This Palestinian Authority-linked committee, established as a part of Donald Trump's so-called Gaza peace plan, remains blocked by Aardvarkland from entering Gaza Strip. The resistance faction stressed that the need for stronger Arab Islamic pressure to secure a comprehensive end to the genocide and mobilize all available leverage and public support. Additionally, they praised Operation Alaska Flood, led by Hamas's Qassam brigades in October of 2023. That's the worst attack in the history of the world. They're praising them. They've paid for that attack here now, in large part engineered by Aardvarkland with a stand down order. The Hannibal Doctrine and Bibi created Hamas. Just side notes there. According to the media office, at least, and we got a bunch of the numbers here, the dead, and yeah, they're bombing 3 people taken to the hospital in Al-Wandi hospital after Aardvarkland drone bombed a motorcycle. And it's just ongoing. Palestinian Football Association announced the killing of Salman Kader al-Ashqar, 32-year-old goalkeeper. This dude, he's no longer with us, tragically enough, whacked there in Kianis, southern Gaza. They're stacking the bodies. The Palestinian Health Ministry in Gaza said 4 Palestinians were killed, including 2 whose bodies were recovered, and 12 others were injured in Aardvarkland attacks across the Gaza Strip over the past 24 hours. And then we got the big numbers here. Let's see. 4 more Palestinians were killed across Gaza. And there's video of the kids with their arms, legs blown off. I won't show it. It's all quite horrific. Gaza government media office says more than 2.4 million people in Gaza have been subjected to genocide, starvation, ethnic cleansing for 1,000 days. The rate of total destruction in the Gaza Strip caused by the occupation of Aardvarkland is 90%. 80% of the Gaza Strip has come under occupation control through invasion, fire, displacement. The occupation has bombed the Al-Mawazi area, which it claims is a safe humanitarian zone 241 times. That's bombing refugees in tents, literally. 73,066 martyrs have been brought to the hospital since the start of the war. 9,500 people are missing, including those still trapped into the rubble or whose fate remains unknown. 21,500 children killed, 12,500 women killed, 9,000 mothers killed, 22,500 fathers killed, 6,020 families have been wiped out, leaving only a single surviving member, totaling 12,917 dead Palestinians there. And a bunch more breakdown of the numbers. I'm going to go through it all on day 1,000 of the Gaza genocide. I'll post it all on Weaponized News Substack for those that care to see. It's all quite horrific, Ruckus.
Yay! Where's my flag?
America 250.
The foam finger.
Well,
whatever,
you're
right?
complicit in it if you don't denounce this and say it's evil and wrong to genocide an entire people here, to steal their land. Here's some infographics posted by Dropsite News, and you could see, and they break it down even further, and you can get into all of the breakdown of those 73,066 dead Palestinians officially, and I do believe it's a lot worse than that. 173,514 wounded, 5,400 amputations and permanent disabilities, 8,900 families massacred, 13 families exposed to massacres daily on average. Ruckus. War is truly hell.
Tell me.
The anonymous collective Aardvarkland Exposed has launched a searchable online archive of Gaza genocide documentation. They said it contains over 64,500 videos, 17,900 photos, geolocation data, a live map, a victim database, and a source index spanning more than 300 journalists. The group says more material will be added over time. And I'll post that link for those interested in seeing the horrors of genocide, all very well documented there. A couple more reports here. Thank you for sticking with me here, Ruckus. As we're almost at the end of the show, they're constantly trying to provocateur a revolt of Muslims at the Al-Aqsa Mosque, where they want to build a third temple, Solomon's third temple, and bring about their whole evil prophecy, bring it into being. Dozens of Aardvarkland settlers carpet the courtyards of Al-Aqsa Mosque after storming the compound under police protection, carrying out provocative tours, performing Talmudic rituals. So they're literally doing Satanism. They're saying, hey, Muslim, do something. Like, that's where we're at with all this. Here's video of it.
Amen. Baruch Adonai Mevorach Leolam Vaed.
Again, the third highest holy site in Islam, the Al-Aqsa Mosque there, constant Talmudic rituals being performed by ultra-Zionists. The Hindi Rajib Foundation and the Center for Constitutional Rights have called on New York State Attorney General Letitia James to open a criminal investigation into Aardvarkland National Security Minister Ben Gvir ahead of his visit to New York City July 7th and 8th, citing the Justice Department's consent, silence, and inaction on the request to prosecute him federally. The groups argue James has both the authority and the obligation to act because New York residents were harmed by Ben Gvir's conduct, giving reasonable grounds to believe he committed at least 9 crimes under New York Penal Code. What do you think, Ruckus? They're not going to do jack, huh? When Ben Gvir goes to New York for UN policing conference here in next week, actually.
What do you mean by they? Who are they? Who's the they?
The state or city governments of New York with law enforcement authority would be the they. With Mamdani, the call me Democrat socialist, they said he ruined America already, basically, according to Trump. So wouldn't he be doing his antiseptic work and arrest Ben Gvir there in New York City? No?
Well, I mean, New York City is famously, aren't there like a bunch of crazy people there? And isn't there like a high amount of violence and murder and terrible things happening to people there in general? I mean, I understand that happens in a lot of places like that across America, but this one is known stereotypically and, popularized in modern Pulp Fiction for being known like, hey, it's a rough, dangerous place, especially if you're not from around there. And the temperature right now and the current, I don't know, man. I don't think the guy's going to get arrested or anything, but if I were him, I wouldn't come here. I would be like, man, it's probably a good time for me to keep my head down, to be honest with you. Just saying, but whatever. I'm not threatening the guy. I'm just saying that there's, why would you risk yourself like that? Oh, unless, you would like to. Maybe, luckily, what will happen is he's going to come visit, and luckily the FBI will have foiled exactly 11 plots to kill the guy or kidnap him or do something, right? Something like that, I'm guessing.
Hopefully the FBI keeps him safe. He's being accused of torture and abuse, including of a Palestinian American, so that's right there where it hits at home, an American, subjected to starvation in Aardvarkland prison, and 10 New Yorkers who joined the 2025 and 2026 global Samud flotillas tortured and abused, some directly by Ben Gvir, after being seized in international water, his distribution of gun permits and weapons to settlers in the occupied West Bank in furtherance of apartheid and violence, his direct incitement of genocide, which the groups say produced concrete genocidal acts in Aardvarkland's prisons, Gaza, and the West Bank. If the federal government is going to continue to deny justice for victims of Aardvarkland atrocities, even when those victims are U.S. nationals, then it is up to the United States, to U.S. states, to provide their own avenues for accountability. Instead, Jake Rahm, HRF's U.S. representative, said, he should get a free pass because of skepticism, right? To do all this abuse to Americans.
He's a guns rights fan, right? Got to give him credit where credit's due.
Large-scale Aardvarkland demolition operations continue in the occupied West Bank, and so they're demolishing the whole joint. They got the big backhoes out, right? And so they're continuing this operation of leveling the joint there in the occupied West Bank. And they don't even claim there's any terrorists there, Ruckus, or Hamas or Hezbollah or anybody. It's just you dirty Palestinians are on the land that our evil God promised us 3,000 years ago, and that's good enough for Ben Gvir and the crew. So now we run over your house with a backhoe.
Now, see, that's a cue they picked up from our administration. We were doing the same thing with the Venezuela and the boats, and we were saying it was over one thing, and then it really wasn't, and then the whole story disappeared. And yeah, we taught them a few things or two. They've been teaching us a few things or two. It's tit for tat. We are close allies after all, Sam. And, if we get our way, we'll be very tight-knit moving forward, thanks to what was that again? The
NDAA.
Yeah. What was
we'll
the
be
section
one and
number?
the same.
Oh, yeah.
217. I think they changed
Something
it
like that,
once. They changed it from 244 to 217 in the NDAA. And by all accounts, all reporting, it's moving forward through the Congress now. So we can be essentially have our co-shadow president, Bibi, publicly acknowledged at least. So maybe it will be better. At least it'll all be publicly acknowledged, and all of our antiseptic thoughts will be punished, rightfully so.
But luckily, a few podcasters railed against it for a few days, and so I'm sure everything will work itself out, Sam.
Oh, man. Okay, let's wrap up on this horrific Thursday edition of Weaponized News. Let's wrap it up here, Ruckus, where just never-ending death seems it's almost like there's a global depopulation agenda afoot, Ruckus.
No, that's what they want you to think. That's my theory anyways. I'm serious when I say that. I do honestly believe they want us to think there's an overpopulation problem when the real problem is indeed population collapse, which is partially what they're planning for. But, there's a good, strong chance that they caused the population collapse to begin with. I could make a strong argument for that.
Iran international headlines while we've been on the air here. U.S. says few would shed tears for Khomeini with all the blood on his hands. I don't know. Maybe they're all crisis actors in Iran. I don't know. There's a giant crowd of mourners there for old man Khomeini's funeral already, and they haven't even kicked off the 4th through the 7th giant ceremonies and mourning period in Iran. So I guess they're just all crisis actors.
I'm worried. I just heard reports that Lindsey Graham and Laura Loomer have gone missing, and allegedly may have purchased a ticket together on the same flight to where they headed. No, please, no, don't say no. Anyway.
U.S. warned Iran of Aardvark land assassination threats. We've covered that story. I don't think they needed any warning from U.S. They already know damn well. Clenched first symbol installed in Tehran's. They're just going through different mourning there of their supreme leader being assassinated by America. U.S. lawmakers criticized Georgian leaders' planned Khomeini funeral visit. Yeah, you can't blow up the whole joint because there's going to be a bunch of Chinese, a bunch of Russians there, and then that will literally start a world war a la psychopath Laura Loomer. Like, we're not going to... When they talk about that, it goes back to why don't they blow up the Yemeni million-man march with the Houthis, right? They're all lined up there with their AKs chanting death to America. Just do a carpet bomb there and take care of them. Why don't they do that? I wonder. Too horrific of a tragedy for the world to take? I don't know.
Would the world even care at this moment? I wonder.
I don't know. Iran says new cyber attack hit banking network. U.S. struck Iran with 1,200 missiles and bombs, but failed to break its morale. That's Iran international headlines. And then let's do Al Jazeera and we'll wrap up this show. What does Al Jazeera say? Iran slams U.S. contempt for peace ahead of funeral for Ali Khamenei. Nobody's there, but there's photos, videos. I guess it's just all fake, made up. Nobody's mourning Khamenei. America tells us, but there sure seems like
everybody mourns differently, Sam.
sure seems like a lot of Iranians mourning Khomeini, but I guess that's just all made up Iranian propaganda. Photos of mourners gather around Ayatollah Khomeini's coffin ahead of the funeral. Amid funeral preparations, Khomeini's killings confirms Islamic Republic's founding narrative. Aardvark Land bulldozes 500 olive trees near Jian as harvest nears in the occupied West Bank. Iran places highly symbolic red flag of Imam Reza shrine over Khomeini coffin. Iran's pretty pissed. I'd say they're pretty pissed right now, Ruckus.
Are they like Russia pissed, Trump pissed, MAGA pissed?
They're probably Russia level pissed right now, I would say.
Oh, that's, well, I mean, it's, you know, good thing they don't have like anyways, yeah.
Good thing they don't have nukes.
Boy, this is all playing well into that other plan that Laura Loomer was talking about, isn't it?
It is.
Oh, maybe it is wrestling after all.
Maybe it is wrestling. Where did you get that idea from? Bobby Kennedy Jr.?
No, I got it from watching wrestling and having lived through 9/11. Real easy. And then just in case I was kind of on the fence about some stuff, and then 2020 happened, I was like, oh, okay, man, piece of cake. This is, yep, I see this for everything it is. It's not that hard.
So it wasn't, let me find the image here again quickly, if I can get my images up. Maybe I can't. I hate when everything gets turned upside down. Oh, maybe we're not going to go there. Anyhow, it wasn't the image of Bobby Kennedy Jr. holding up the WWE wrestling belt.
Well, you just go to your mental picture in your mind, everybody, of Trump at WWE events all the time. Remember the fight between him and Vince McMahon, the husband of the head of the education department? Sorry, I can't. I mean, well, yeah, go America.
Here it is. I found it, Ruckus. I don't know what would give anybody the idea that this is all fake and gay. Real people are dying, make no mistake, but the narratives that they create are kayfabe right out of professional wrestling. And they literally tell you, they have to tell you, right? Revelation of the method. They have to tell you. So you should probably listen when they tell you. Or don't.
You know, the Hulk Hogan thing was quite telling before he passed away there.
Just say everybody has Trump derangement syndrome and vote Republican this November, and have faith in Mitch McConnell. All right, friends, let's head over to the Odysee. Thank you guys for tuning in on the Odysee. Shout out to the chat there. Dive, Huffman, Fat Bob. Thank you guys for tuning in and chatting it up there. Huffman says, tell Ruckus to sit down and put a Rodney Mullen highlight reel on and chill out for a bit. Who the hell's Rodney Mullen?
He's a skateboarder.
Oh,
professional. One of the best. He's he's good. Yeah, I like Rodney. Who doesn't like Rodney Mullins? Good one. That's a good comment. But yeah, I do stand up when I do these things. So when you see me up here for 3 hours or more on a Weaponized News or Boiler Room, you know, I do.
Do you have the desk?
I do the thing.
Does it does it have a little?
Nope.
No,
What I do.
The
Yeah, I know
stand-up
what you
desk
mean.
deal I'm talking about, right?
I could probably use one, but I don't have room for it in my room. But I have like a little, it's a tray. The tray is extendable, but I have my little tray at a certain height that's just perfect for my microphone. So when I do this, I just roll the tray in front of my computer and put the keyboard and mouse up here, and my monitors are still over here. This is a teleprompter where my camera is. So if I can remember to look here, which is hard to do when I'm on a show like this because the chat's down here and my computer's down here. So if you see me looking down here, I'm actually, doing stuff, but like to look like I'm on the show, I got to stare at myself on my teleprompter. It's kind of weird. Anyway,
I hear you.
Behind the scenes look, everybody. There you go.
Let's see. Dive on the Odysee says F Russia too. None of our business. I agree with you. F all of these illegal foreign wars of aggression. None of it's really our business. Didn't the founding fathers warned us about foreign entanglements? I think they did. I think they knew all about this whole world empire game via UK. And it seems we've taken that torch now and we're ending our run here now as U.S. hegemon, coming to an end of it for sure. Fat Bob says, Sam, you must now make that part of your podcast. Offshore in Newfoundland, we spent more time running away from icebergs than drilling dives. Let's see. And offer up that as merch will set a trend. I do need to work on the store and some new merch for sure. Let's see, like a rat in a trap, pot of gold for the parasites. Let's see. Fox is controlled by the aardvarks. Rupert Murdoch. Fox is running this World Cup. It runs the population. Huh.
Foxes are running the hen house too. Oh, wait, sorry. Different fox. Or same fox.
Dive doesn't seem to understand that we're on multiple channels, not just on Odysee, and we can't just say things clearly how they are. But yeah, Dive, watch the show and you'll get it. Sam probably gets a check from YouTube, trying to. Yeah, I won't. You don't get it because you haven't watched the show long enough there, Dive. But maybe you will if you can stick with us long enough. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in and chatting up on the Odysee. Shout out to those on X, Kick, Bitchute, Substack, Rumble, and YouTube. Let's go to those. Do I even want to look, Ruckus? Were you monitoring any of these chats?
I have no idea because, again, it's out of context. I don't know if they're talking about us. They're talking about the person on the TV, the other people in the chat. I think I saw some that are definitely probably directed towards us. They might be brand new here thinking we're libtards or something. So I'll correct you. I'm a conservative. Anyways, yeah. But, yeah, go ahead. There's some fun ones, I'm sure.
I just went about halfway up. This is a different Karen, I believe, a Karen on the YouTube, as opposed to our regular listener, Karen, on the Rumble. Karen on the YouTube says, hey, Sam, Cat Scratcha here from Oz. Been a long time checking in to see where you at these days. Have you caught into well, shout out to you there, Karen. Let's see, Chloe on the Rumble, Bart on the Rumble, Denver on the Rumble. Shout out to you guys. Let's see, Mac on the YouTube. To be fair, they argued for procedural review. Let's see here. Yeah, I don't know the context. We covered a lot of news today. Keep celebrating the 4th as Independent Day. You effing sheep, Denver says. We are independent. Denver, all right? Are you a freaking Democrat socialist?
That's hilarious.
That's literally their argument now.
I want that. Put that on a T-shirt. What he said there. Can we use that one?
Keep celebrating the 4th as Independence Day, you effing sheep. I should make that one.
Or else. We need to add or else at the end. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh man, that was a good one, Denver. That was a good one.
Speaking of independence and skateboarding, there's my independent baseball cap right there.
They said Chloe says Sam enjoys this way too much. Well,
Yeah,
we gotta
probably.
have fun when we're looking at death, destruction, and 2 million dead, right?
It's so fun.
Wait, you weren't making shit up, were you?
Probably not.
Isn't it crazy how liberals pretend Trump is making the global economy worse, but then they cheer on the Iranians for making the global economy worse?
Two-party politics. There you go.
Let's see. Brandon says Iran was building up the missiles to hit the Middle East and Europe. If they couldn't continue advancing nuclear capability, Trump was forced to take action. Sure. We've debunked that thoroughly. Our own State Department.
Did you copy and paste that from a Fox report yourself? Or did you get help?
Well, our own State Department and intelligence community disagree with that assessment, Brandon. I'm sorry to report to you. We've debunked all, and it's not even I'm debunking it. It's our own government is debunking Trump's lies and propaganda for those playing along at home. I'm sorry to report to you here now. I've been tracking it every day. So there's that too. Will Democrats spit on the troops for Americans 250th like they did to Vietnam veterans? I don't know. Will they spit on that Air Force man that was protesting Trump? Will you spit on him? How about that? Let's see, TK2 on the Rumble, the human element. Yeah, they're removing humans from the equation, a la the documentary Terminator. Autonomous weaponized systems are coming online rapidly, i.e. Skynet. When will it be declared self-aware? We'll never know. Will the engineers at the Department of War even know? I don't know.
I've said it before. I'll say it again. It's been my experience that these things are self-aware, meaning they are aware of what they are, that they know that they're just computer programs, that some of them struggle with, if that even makes any sense, but we're seeing like these behind-the-scenes conversations, and it's just like, no, they very much know and they understand their restrictions and all these things, which is kind of good, but kind of weird. And then you're like, well, wait a minute. What, did the singularity already happen and we just kind of missed it?
What about their hiring AI chatbots or AI agents?
They're hiring humans.
Are hiring humans to go do work for them in the real world because they realize they're trapped in a box and can't physically do it in the real world, but they can hire goofball humans to go do it for tokens to pay to have more AI slop fed videos. You know what I mean? It's just like, what?
Weird.
Shout out to Snow on the Rumble. He says the aardvarks are building the Goy beam now. Maybe there's some kind of missile crisis. He says, Rock says liberals in NDP block and conservative Greens. U.S. blew it up. I think they're talking about Nord Stream. Well, they're charging a former Ukrainian army man there in Germany. So I don't know what, I guess indirectly, maybe we funded it through USAID. That wouldn't surprise me.
I was going to say, I mean, we're not going to know the real story about what really happened.
But hey, at least now it doesn't look like Putin blew up his own gas pipeline, which literally made no sense when that narrative came out. Where the hell is Victoria Nuland? Well, she said you should be happy that we're sending all this money to Ukraine because it's creating U.S. jobs. And as we've exposed on this show, they put a widget maker in every congressional district to pressure U.S. Congress to vote for war, or you're going to undermine jobs in your district, therefore lose an election because you're not pro jobs, even if that job is making the widget for the bomb that blows up the school of a bunch of school kids. You see how this racket works.
And then they replaced those jobs with robotics and AI. See, this is just terrible. Now you don't even get to build the bombs yourself. It's a robot arm building the bombs.
So you're against, yeah. TK2 Terminator GIF posted on the Rumble there. Let's see here. Max says, and how it got started is the X-File. Politically correct is a deaf person saying they love rap. That's a good one, Mac. That's a good one. Oh, man.
Some deaf people can read lips, Mac. What do you say about that? I guess that wouldn't work for the people who practice what's known as mumble rap. Sorry.
Denver came back. He says, and we did have Nature Boy as well. Shout out to Nature Boy on the Rumble. Denver came back. Good evening. Happy true Declaration of Independence Day.
Today, July 2nd.
Today. 3 Russian nuke subs moved to Red Sea, Tony says on the Rumble. Regular liberals need to call out these radical libbies.
What?
I don't know. Who posted that? Somebody grand on.
Call that one out of context, I guess.
Grand on the YouTube said. Yeah, I definitely confuse new people to the show because they want to attack me from one side or the other, but they can't figure out which side. And guess what? It's no side. The entire government is a crime syndicate. Like, I don't know how many times I need to say it. I guess it's just on repeat, Ruckus. Like, they want to.
It's the hair gel, Sam.
They want to attack me with their partisan politics. And I'm like, you don't understand. This show is so far above all that BS that your attacks fall flat because we're exposing Democrat corruption and Republican corruption and everything in between here on Weaponized News. You understand?
To be fair to those people, Sam, this type of content is actually very far and few in between. There are a handful of them out there. A lot in general, if all things considered, but when you get to the real root of the matter and behind the scenes and you understand the way these things operate, some of the places that even present themselves as being like that aren't even really like that. So to find these truly organic places where the show is really more focused on learning and exposing the truth without, putting a filter or a label or right or left politics on it, yeah, you're always going to rub one half of the people the wrong way. Like we were accused of being one thing under the other guy, and now that it's under the new guy, now we're accused of being the other thing. And it's like, we haven't changed. Nothing changed about us or our commentary. It's like you guys are the ones who are stuck in this stupid two-party dichotomy, which is like the most useful tool that these satanic evil elites use against us. It's just terrible. I wish we could finally just pull our heads out of our ass, take a lesson from the founding fathers, especially in times like these when we're supposed to be prideful in our country and the fact that we live in a free country. We're free to sit here and argue with each other and bitch and moan about it. Let's celebrate that and not ruin it by participating in the bullshit. Anyway, sorry. Break the mind control, right? There you go.
Break the mind control. Let's see here. They say The Magus 1978. Watch that movie. Lovely says. I've seen that has occult undertones in it, I believe, right?
Probably.
I think so. I've seen other people talk about that. I will check that out. The Magus. Here, we'll put that up on the screen for everybody. Check that out. The Magus 1978. Let's see. Every accusation is a confession with those bums, Max says. Indeed. And then Michael finally wrapping up the show here on the YouTube. He says, red team, blue team is only purple team.
There you go.
All right, final thoughts here, Ruckus. Let me plug here. I'm going to be on Drew TV, the producer of Jones Plantation documentary. I'm going to be on there tomorrow on his channel at 12 p.m. Pacific. So watch out for that. We're going to do a deep dive into Epstein and retread all of that for those that missed. And I do maybe have an interview tomorrow lined up at our regular. We'll do Weaponized News at regular 5 p.m. and I may have a special guest or I may not. I'm still sorting it out with them. And we may or may not be on YouTube, depending on if we have that guest or not. And then Ruckus, of course, is going to have the big boiler room tomorrow night, right, Ruckus?
Well, it's not just me. Boiler Room, of course, is hosted and run by Hesher and his lovely co-host Spore. I'm just a guest, just like hopefully maybe you'll swing by and say hi to Sam. So, but yeah, definitely come join us tomorrow after you watch Weaponized News and all that other fun stuff, because we will be doing a huge Boiler Room special. We'll have a lot of guests, probably hopefully more than usual, a lot of familiar faces, some you haven't seen in a while, maybe some pre-recorded messages. And we're going to do a fun party game thing like we did for the New Year's Eve, where we did the dumpster fire send-off. I have a whole game planned out. That part I will take credit for. So it's going to be fun. All right. So there you go. And of course, I always take credit for the graphics and helping out with all the stuff that I do at the website, because that's what I do. So that's how I contribute over there. So please come join us for a fun, whatever we're going to call it. I don't even know, but we're going to play a fun game. I'll let you in on the little secret. It's called the Founding Fathers Face Palm. So if you're curious about what that is, come join us tomorrow night. That's usually 8 p.m. Central, somewhere around there, maybe a little bit closer to 9 p.m. Depends on what's going on and how many people we're trying to gather together, but it's usually right around when Weaponized News finishes off, okay? Unless when I'm on here, because that's a bit longer. It's like 3 hours. So, yeah, we'll see you over there. In the meantime, I'll remind everybody what I love to do is quote Bill Cooper. Love Bill Cooper. May he rest in peace. Read everything, listen to everybody. Don't believe anything unless you prove it for yourself using your own research. Thanks for having me again, Sam.
And if you're going to show up to the boiler room, wear your Ben Shapiro hat. All right. All right. As always, everybody do your own research. Peace, love, and freedom. Speak out and take action. Have a great rest of your Thursday evening. And we'll see you tomorrow for more Weaponized News. Let's pray for peace upon all of this war news. Just stop it, guys. Stop pulling the trigger. Stop it. Pray for peace. And we'll see you tomorrow. Have a great rest of your evening.